people seems to like to hate more on ZywOo than on Simple.
100%. I don't understand.
Fuck is this real life?
ZywOo's the nicest guy in the world.
What did this guy ever do to anyone? Like, I presume mainly from the argument of like who is better, and then people feeling
they
like
ZywOo is
Ronaldo. Overrated, and therefore if he's overrated, every time he does poorly, this proves that he's bad. But like
the consensus of the professional Counter-Strike players right now, you ask them who is the best player in the world right now, ZywOo. It's not even a conversation.
Best esports odds, VIP program and a variety of bonuses, fast and easy withdrawals, bet on every possible CSGO match and tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins and looking for beautiful new ones? Tradeit.gg is your place to go for easy and secure trades within seconds. Simply pick and choose whatever item you want to trade from Tradeit's huge inventory. Verify the trade on Steam, and you're ready. With the lowest fees in the market and a beautiful, easy-to-use UI, Tradeit also offers you the option to instantly sell your items for cash. We accept a wide variety of payment methods. Tradeit.gg is the go-to place whenever you want to try out fancy new skins. Start trading today at Tradeit.gg.
It's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, good vibe.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans around the globe, welcome to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Can you hear us? Let us know in the Twitch chat right now. We're going to sit here and not say anything until you reply.
Hello, hello. Hello.
I'm waiting to see what they say.
We're so ahead of time. We're so ahead.
One.
They can hear us.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
All right, well, thanks 22Bet, SteelSeries, Tradeit.gg, sponsors. They'll make it happen. We're here. We managed to make it happen. Sorry for the slight delay. I had a network issue. You can probably see these fucking cables here. I had to run downstairs. I had to run to Moses' room. Got locked out of my room. The hotel is rammed. I've seen some fans in the lobby. My apologies if I seem flustered. I was in a rush. But we're here, and I'm going to have to look at you guys now. Cheers, gentlemen.
I passed on the cheer. You can do it. Amazing.
That makes sense. All right. Well, IEM Cologne just concluded.
No, before anything, props to you for this insane setup.
And you just fucking casted for how many hours?
It wasn't that. It was all right.
So
it wasn't
bad.
crazy like
bad.
last year.
Look at this guy. I wasn't that bad.
No, so the only thing I'm sad about, and this is my own fault because you talked to me about this yesterday, and you said, "Am I sure that I want to do this?" And I said, "Yeah, I am sure I want to do this."
Now you don't want to do it.
No, I do want to do it. It's just Justin messaged me 40 minutes ago now, and he said, "Where you at? Come get a photo with the trophy. Last place Cologne players 2014 to winners 2023." And I just had to say to the kid, "Sorry, like I'm here, but let me know when you're back, and I'll come down and celebrate with him." Because
he's bringing the trophy, you can do it in the lobby.
Yeah, exactly. But in Katowice, I was there with him.
He can just bring it up here.
That works too. Yeah, if he wants, we can see if we can source a fourth microphone. Yeah. So yeah, what I can do is I can raise Prof's gain. So let me raise that.
I think the problem was also I was a bit too far.
There you go. I just raised your gain.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
I can turn you back down.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Like, I don't know if this is from
Yeah,
somebody
don't worry
else,
about that. Mate, we fixed that shit in post around here.
Okay.
This is just some fucking, or you just talk closer in the mic. You see what I'm doing here, guys? You know, it's more than the Joe Rogan. It's the right in here, so we're real fucking deep. These new pop filters.
Get that sucker right.
Yeah. Gentlemen,
Yes,
I saw you. You were on the cam. You were in fucking front row with a camera in your
I
hand.
was looking very cute in that.
You had a hat on. What's the hat about? Where's that?
It's over there somewhere. It's from Darth Mike.
I thought I saw that.
It's
In the green room.
it's the mustache master's hat.
What's that about?
It's like their, the Americans have their mustache master thing, like Movember kind of a thing. They do
Yeah, like a charity event.
like a charity event. They do they kind of set up something like this and they do stupid shit all the time with teams play, and they have like 10 people casting, and this guy's like waxing off his legs, the other guy's like that kind of stuff.
The classic stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Like pieing people in the face.
I'm pretty
things
sure
like that.
that is why Mike got hired for this job.
Because he waxes his legs.
Yeah, he can do stupid shit. He
Okay.
definitely has the capability of that.
He did a great job in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's no easy task to have to be there in front of those
That is
10,000
that is the
people.
nightmare. That is a nightmare
Yeah.
for me.
Mate, anything that's on a stage, like OJ as well, like fuck that. Like that's the shit that scares the hell out of me. Like imagine having to walk out there, not fuck up your words
Oh,
while
yeah.
standing in the middle of the stage, conducting all these people and making sure that everything goes right. Like fuck that, man. Like that's way too scary.
I can only talk to 2,000 people on Twitch, and that's it.
Well, we had 100 people over there in Experion, right? That was pretty good the other night.
Yeah.
I think people were a little bit sleeping on the guests that we had on the show, right? But when you have nerds come, the thing that I was talking to my girlfriend about this the other night, like when I get to see a kid like that sit there and talk passionately in the same way that I feel like I talk about the game,
Right.
like, man, that fucking gets me
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Like when somebody else is able to convey those type of emotions, it's really cool. Like it's one of those fun things. And we had another fun final right now. Look, ENCE didn't show up on map 1.
No,
I was
yeah.
really confused to see them go for Nuke in the Vita. Like obviously Nuke was going to be played. I thought that G2 would have picked Mirage, and then their second pick would have maybe been Nuke. I was surprised to see them pick Nuke as the first map.
I think it's kind of because they have fairly similar map pools. I mean, obviously apart from Inferno, I mean, ENCE have that.
When ENCE don't really like Overpass either.
Yeah, that's another one. So ENCE actually had a kind of an advantage going into the veto just because of by the virtue of having the same ban basically, and banning out the best map from G2. So I thought because they have kind of similar map pool, Nuke Mirage is pretty high up on both of their map pools, but then Vertigo and Ancient, neither of them are particularly high on either of them. Anub is actually not super high either for either of them. Probably better for ENCE, but just generally, I was like, when I saw the 2-0 and I saw the rest of the map pool, I was like, this could be one of those cases. This could be the first case, because
It's very rare.
I actually remember saying the exact same thing. I think was the Katowice final, where
The heroic one, yeah.
where it was kind of, I think it was going to end on
Ancient
this.
Vertigo. It was Vertigo, yeah.
So I remember saying the exact same thing, because like G2 have not been that great on those two maps pretty historically, and it's gotten better. I kind of still remember the bad losses on Ancient, so I think G2 is a bad Ancient team, but that's necessarily not been the case in more recent times.
Yeah, I mean, even JKS after that Katowice final, he said like if it was a 3-0, right?
No, 3-1. The
3-1,
same
yeah.
way it went
Yeah.
here. So they won the first two.
But
Versus
the
Heroic, they
comment
lost
was
to
that
Inferno.
if it went to the 5th, it would be shaky.
It would have been
Yeah.
shaky. I mean, Vertigo would have been that would have been messy, man. I don't know what would have happened there.
But you see the difference was like G2 started as if they'd been in a grand final of that stature before
yeah.
because they
Yeah,
had, and ENCE
yeah.
didn't. Like they just started so flat. And that interview that Shox got with Saw between,
Oh my!
right? Like he was so calm in that interview.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
It was very funny because like the answer is the meme answer. But
Yes.
it is actually
It
true,
is what
because
happened.
the question was like, what are you gonna change, or like to win the next map? Like, what do you have to work on? And he's just like, we need to hit our shots. And it is funny because that's what everyone says all the time. But in this case, it was really
Yeah,
the truth.
it's not like well, I guess if you're not hitting your shots, you're not getting your map control, you're not being able to play your game. Like when you get to Anubis, you saw they were even able to play out these 2v2s really well. Once we get to, like, here's the thing. Anubis, Ancient, and Vertigo back to back to back, they're great seesaw maps, right? And you saw them doing that. They won a key round on Anubis there where they played, and they also tried the same thing on Ancient. I think ENCE are good in those moments, and they were very unlucky, I think, in that round where they attempted to duke Monacy and JKS, right? This is all really fresh because I was just fucking talking about
like
it, right?
the middle rotation.
So
or whatever
Diha
you're
runs,
talking
he
about.
goes middle, he throws the flash from Donut in towards A, it draws the rotation. Monacy and JKS both rotate, smoke towards Speedway, the lane at the back.
Right.
They get in, but then Monacy lurks through the smoke while the bomb's getting planted, and Diha's still rotating back, right? There was that round. There was the other round where it was Sampaius ended up saving the M4, and it was left in a one-on-one with Monacy. I think that was the first gun round in the second half, maybe. And if they won that round as well, I think it was well and truly on. Because both these teams, the thing that was cool, but the thing that didn't manifest was the fact that both of them more than happy just to force buy or even light buy hero AKs.
It did a bit on Ancient, I feel like.
Yeah, but it could have kicked off more.
Yeah.
Like I think Matthew summarized it well during the death segment, which if you guys were in the arena, you didn't get to see it. I had to put, dude, I know a lot of people messaging me with complaints about that, and I saw a lot of fans and they're asking the question as well. they need to find a middle ground, because I'm sitting there as well. We only got internal feed, the same thing everybody in the arena saw.
Yeah.
So between maps, so I can keep up with the analysts. Because
Right.
look,
so
I was an analyst before.
Yeah.
When I would listen to the casters, and
It
they
sets
would,
up your job as
bro,
well.
if the analysts do their job and the caster brings that in, you tie the whole broadcast together. So
Yeah.
I'm having to sit there with a fucking in-ear between maps on a time delay, listening to Yanko, Matthew, Trace doing the desk segment, so I can make sure I carry their lines into the cast.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I kind of get like why it's not in the arena. Obviously, the in arena experience, that's not meant to be the same thing as what goes out to people online, right? But yeah, I mean, I obviously missed it as well, just because I am interested in that type of shit.
Yeah.
But I know that most people probably aren't. In the
we need a
like,
solution though
Yeah.
between the two of it, right? And my thing with the in-ear, in cricket, like cricket in Australia, right? You go to the game, you can't hear the commentators in the arena.
Yeah.
But you get it in-ear and you can listen to the radio. So you listen to
Yeah.
the commentary as you're
Ah,
going.
okay.
So I would love like a middle ground. And I understand that's really costly to do them with frequencies and stuff. But I think that would be like a cool way to deal with it. Or maybe have them pre-match, right? And then post, but don't have them in between maps, right? Because that's where all the
Right.
fans go take a piss or
Yeah.
get like a hot dog or
Sure.
some shit, right? Like people just stretching their legs a bit. Mate, yesterday, after I did that first semi, I went up into the rafters, way up in the back,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because I've never been up there before. And that's where
Really?
Bercho goes to take the, well,
Yeah.
I've, like I'm normally down on the lower deck. So I was like, fuck it, let's go experience that. And I just walked up there. And there's even more people up there, right? Like you feel more swamped because you're up so high. You have the perspective.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Like I thought that was one of the best seats in the house, because I always get emotional at this stuff. I feel like a bit of a wanker.
No,
right?
but it is a cool. I was literally there. We were literally there with Daniela, like last series, the first two maps, I think, or the first map or something.
Astralis, we were
And you
watching
just
there,
get and you just get like you get everything, you know.
Yeah.
Like when you're down on the floor, you only get that one experience where there's just like the roaring bears or whatever, like they're shouting on one side and there's the other side that's happening. That's pretty much all you get, like when you're out down on the floor. But then you go up and then you just have an overview of everything, and it's really it's a cool experience. It's a different one.
Look, I think that place now consistently, obviously we had online era, right? And then we had coming out of pandemic in 21, right? Where we were in the hotel in the Hyatt. So things were a little bit different, but basically let's just, we'll get rid of the asterisk. 10 years, right? Almost 9, right? We were in Gamescom 2014, but 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, all in the Lanxess.
Yeah.
There's 5. And then we've come back out. We did 2022 and now 2023. It's crazy that the consistency of that event has delivered time after time, right? Obviously,
almost like doing it in the same arena is going to make it a better experience.
in a city in Central
Crazy.
Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
It's great, and I'm glad it delivered again. And I hope that everybody had a great time, because this is the thing, right? Like we're online and we read all the comments and Twitter and all lights up and Reddit and everything like that. But when I get to talk to these people here, and so many of them, they're so sweet as human beings. Like they come up and they're looking at Counter-Strike the same way all the people who decided after a grand final that went for fucking 4 maps, they want to listen to 3 fucking clowns in my hotel room. Look, normally when I have 4 people in my hotel room, we're up to something different. So
You're not. Actually, you're not. It's literally the same thing, but without the camera.
yeah, it's the same setup.
It's
We just got
It's literally that meme about guys. It's like having a conversation. It's like we should start a podcast.
Yeah.
But that's literally what you do.
Yeah. I just apparently all I do is talk. So I'm sorry that like you guys talk more. I don't want to listen to my voice anymore. Someone fucking put me out of my misery.
I don't know. You're talking about fans. I was talking to some random German.
You were
fans.
bribing people, I heard.
Yeah, I have to do that as well. I mean, we needed beers. Obviously, you need beers. We just finished. Walk into the gas station here in front of the hotel. Everyone's gonna get some beers and stuff. Walk into the gas station. Literally from the entrance, from the door to the counter is a line, and we need to get here. We have places to be. So I'm gonna fuck it. Have some cash.
Why not?
Because we're in Germany, you have to have cash. So
yeah.
I grabbed
It's getting better.
grab like 12 beers, go to the third guy in line. Like I go towards the top of the line and some guy looks at me. I'm like, I'm waiting for the eye contact.
Somebody who knows who you are.
This guy makes eye contact. I don't think he knew who I was. He's just buying cigarettes or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I'm in a rush. I need to be somewhere very fast. I'm gonna give you 20 euros for this. It's like 10 euros. It was 15, whatever. And he's like, yeah, fine. So I do that and I exit the store in like 2 minutes. And people are just chilling.
Speed run.
People just looking, not understanding what's happening.
Mate, yesterday when I
You
finished,
just hacked them out of the system.
Yeah.
I watched the end, right? I watched the Astralis G2 game, wait to the end. And then I was like, well, I like walking in this city, right? But
Yeah.
when we leave an event, like there's going to be people everywhere. So I
Yeah.
know like you can get swamped, right? And I have no issues like standing. I love like people come up to me and go, "Can I have a photo?" I'm like, "You want to have a photo with me? Fine. Like let's do it.
Let's
If
do
that's
it.
really the memory you want to have, that's cool. Like all good. I'll do all the autographs. I love it. Like I love getting to talk to those people, and I hope everybody feels like giving my time. But I was like, I want to get back to the hotel. It was kind of raining. I was like, you know what? There's these fucking cardboard masks. Yesterday, I put on a simple mask. I put up my hood and I just
way.
walked with like
Celebrity
hundreds
life,
of people.
man.
I was like, let's go. So I'm just walking. We're crossing the street. Everyone's going. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm just walking as simple. I'm like, yeah, let's go, Sasha. You're saving me today. And we're walking. And I go to the hotel in no time flat. And I roll in, take the mask off, walk in. I was like, wow. I just need to carry that with me everywhere. I'm just going to take this simple mask around the world with me now. It's fucking banger. So that was I even
So
took
now everyone's gonna know.
well,
You
yeah, I
told
guess you're going to have to touch on every shoulder, right? So, yeah, like that's, man, I got to take it. I haven't really let the finish. And fuck. Justin won. Good job, Jacob. Good job, man.
Jacob?
Mate, he did it again.
Doesn't even know his name.
No, I call him Jacob.
Okay.
For fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're
yeah.
friends.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
him like that.
No, because
This is okay. This is a conversation that I wanted to bring up.
By the
right?
way, I love how like this Dimitri's gonna have a field day timestamp with it. Like,
We're just gonna
welcome to my life,
jump
right?
back and forth. This is a conversation I wanted to bring up for this. So, right, like we were just walking to the hotel, and I was just thinking, and I'm like looking at this entire year, right? Like, I mean, number one team is pretty obvious. That's Vitality for the time being, right? But then number two, from number 2 to number 5, I guess you have Heroic in number 2 conversation. But now G2 with this win, they won the 2 hardest tournaments of the year to
Other
win.
than the major.
They are
Yeah.
they are the only team who won more than one trophy. Am I correct? Heroic only won one, and only won one.
Vitality too.
Vitality won.
Yeah, Rio as well for Vitality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
outside of Vitality,
G2 and Vitality are the only two teams who won two trophies this year.
And G2's a bigger than, well, actually, I don't know, a major here, the other 2 here, and then Rio, whatever.
Right.
But when you
like-
put them together, I feel like it's
Equal.
It's a
Look, I
discussion.
think-
It's a
look,
discussion, definitely.
I think
but-
Vitality is still kind of the number 1 just because they also had the final in Blast, and like they were probably more consistent, especially, I mean, could be recency bias. I would have to look at how they did in the early events, like how much they had playoff runs or whatever,
Sure.
like in the early ones.
Katowice also playoffs, and
They
here
had playoffs,
right?
yeah. I guess they were more consistent. They
Yeah.
had the peaks, and they obviously won the majors. So I
Yeah.
think the number 1 conversation isn't necessarily such a big one.
I
But
mean,
the
but
number 2, I think now is probably pretty obviously G2.
But the thing is, like, it's also like it's definitely opened up the conversation for the end of the year. It could be G2. Like,
Right.
definitely, we have enough tournaments until the end of the year that G2 could be the team of the year.
Yeah, but like this is what I expect to happen now. We go into the next event, which is G8 with all the big teams, and they're probably just going to take their foot off the gas again,
Right.
right? Like it's very clear that this team, when the spotlight is on, they play better Counter-Strike. Like that is not even a conversation anymore.
Right.
That is quite truly just the case.
Major.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, maybe the moment too big at the major, right? And now they'll only get an attempt at CS2. But this right here, you know, when we had pronounce his name for me, mate. I don't want to fuck it up again.
Petsa.
Yeah, when we had Petsa on the show the other night, I should in my brain, I'm gonna have PETSA, Petsa.
Yeah. That's
Okay, there we go. Okay, fine. I just have to spell it incorrectly. It's like mortgage. I say mortgage, right? You got to learn these fun tricks when you're basically dyslexic. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, when he was on, he was like, "Oh, I gave him another chance," or "We gave him another chance,"
No,
right?
Not just him, but like
The
everyone.
org, right? Yeah. I'm not but the sentiment, right?
Yeah.
It's like you understand that sentiment for sure. Like it sits there and you sink in and you understand like these teams are all in like an arms race to be the best. But you sit and you go, like, this year has been so uncertain for everybody that it's really hard to look at who should have made changes and who shouldn't have. And
Right.
like the team that won the major made a change, but G2 didn't, and ENCE didn't, and those 2 teams were in the grand final. FaZe didn't make a change, but you know they
They didn't
struggled.
do
So
well.
you know
Yeah.
you can't really compare the pair here.
No.
It just this here cements even more so that we're in this volatile era of Counter-Strike at the moment, right? We're not in anybody's dominance. We're not in a and this, boys, actually, I don't know if either of you are going to be able to help me out here, but I
Okay.
remember when we got towards the tail end of 1.6, shit just went wild.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's when Fnatic became more of like a mixed team between Danes and Swedes, right?
Swedish, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the game at that point, because 1.6 was more defined in different periods, was it more set strat heavy? Was it more individual heavy?
Fnatic were the individualistic
At the
mega
end,
hard
right?
style. Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now with G2.
Yeah. I mean, it was like the whole, even Navi were the number 2 team of the last year, but the previous 2 years they
Yes.
were pretty dominant.
Yes.
And they were the like super structured and super like the kind of like passive style and not super crazy. But then, you know, Fnatic came and like put together this kind of super team with like Trace was there at some point, right?
Yes,
Trace
yes, yes.
exists,
Modi was
Kerrigan, Modi,
there.
and
Yep.
I forgot the last name now. Firta was there after Exist. I don't remember who was there. Just
Crystal
no,
didn't
it
play
was
for them.
Zipex wasn't Zipex there?
I think Zipex might have been there actually.
He
Yeah.
was there for a short
I think he was
while.
there. Anyway, the point is like, I remember this, and I think you're right. Yeah, there's always these periods, where you have like the dominant style is one where there's the fucking Cloud9, obviously. That's or going back further, that's Astralis. That's the super structured, like always playing percentages, but then somebody else takes over. Like Liquid weren't that. They were more like the super heavy trading and things like that. It wasn't like extremely set strat heavy or percentage plays. It's more like they were playing as a pack a lot of the time and just like going into sites. Now Heroic are kind of a similar take on that, except even more aggressive, like more aggressively so in that trading department.
Smart aggression,
like
adding
the
another
calculated
layer.
aggression.
Yeah, and
but
now
everyone's copying that now.
But we are still in kind of like that individualistic, because we still have kind of like we still have the remnants of the phase in G2. Kind of like everybody is very. I think a lot of teams are very individualistic now, so it's hard to tell what's really the meta now.
Look at Mirage, right? When G2 would just put their players in key positions like vent room or window room or connector, like they just stand and just bang, 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 right? They're just looking for fights. I just want to pick up something because we've got Twitch chat open here. Because this show we're gonna basically talk about whatever the fuck comes to mind, right? So someone in chat. The great David, and I'm not mad at you here, David. I just want to reply to you. Trophy should be like the World Cup, where only the winners can touch it. I don't know why JKS wanted SPUNJ to do that. So just to talk, I agree. I agree with that. I agree. In Katowice, the same thing with Justin at the start of the year. We took a photo together, right? And I felt the same way. I don't want to fucking touch that. That's not mine. I didn't do anything to deserve that, but. Justin's not only my friend, like he's somebody, like look at Monacy now, right? He's 18. We got to see him grow up as a person. Justin was 18 when I was playing with him. He was a kid. He was a child, right? Now Justin's 27. And Justin's like me, we're lost boys in Europe. We just live from place to place, right? And for him, I've known Justin for a long time. I know what type of person he is. And if he ever needs anything, he could call me any time of the day and I'm there, right? Like I'm going to be, when I'm commentating him, I'm going to be harsher on him than anybody else in the world because I expect more from him than anybody else. But not only is he my friend, like I'm very proud of him, right? Like that's true. I'm very proud of him. So we have a different relationship. It's not like I'm just some guy. It's not like I'm just some other Australian. Like I've known him now for the better part of a decade, and like he is my friend. So that's probably why.
This is the reason why I don't like players who were at the tournaments to bring out trophies and shit like that, because it's like they didn't earn to touch that, it's like bad karma, kind of like I don't like that either. So
like, if you're retired, fine. But if you competed, then it's
especially if you're at
what did you feel about NAF? What did you feel about NAF bringing it out? He was already eliminated.
Kind of the same thing for me, like that. It was like with Twists, the in Katowice, right? He brought out the trophy. It's kind of the same thing. Like they failed to get that trophy, so like why are they the ones who are bringing it out? I don't really understand it.
I understand your qualm, but like, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But like the flip side of that, the argument there is this is an individual who knows what it takes to get it there, and even though they fell short in that triumph of trying to get it. In that moment, we're celebrating what that honor is with that person. It's like, you've done this before. You've been able to do this here. And you are putting this down with the gravitas of knowing what it means to lift this. So you're the person putting it in place for the next people to come and grab it. And I agree with the sentiment.
Yeah. I mean, I at least would understand if like it was the previous winner or whatever, like they're passing on the baton or whatever. Like I kind of understand that point, but it's just, I don't know. I don't have like a big problem with it. But it's just one of those feelings that, like, the same as you were saying, like I'm not supposed to touch this. Like, this is not mine,
dude. Like when like people get close to it and look at it and shit, like I got nothing to do with that. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm not in the pursuit for that thing. That is for the players, right? And that is what we're aiming for, and that is what I think ESL have been able to build around those trophies, right? So I agree with the great David sentiment about why the fuck would I be anywhere near it? I'm with you, mate. But JKS is the one that won it, and if he's the one that wants me near it, then I'm going to say yes, Justin. I'll do whatever the fuck you want, right? So, just to reply, and look, we'll reply to Twitch chat more. Like, there's a lot to talk about here tonight.
I mean, like, let's get into the actual final now.
Sure. Nuke was a stomp.
Yeah, I mean, Nuke was a stomp, and I think that set the tone for Sampaios, and like we saw, okay, this is the first time that Sampaios
he was insane.
He was very frustrated from the start of the game.
They all were.
From the start of the game, there was like already being kind of feeling they felt what we felt. It's like, this is not going well. This is not what we are looking for here from ENCE, because it was a battle of like two very different teams. It was a team and was a players team kind of. And if the players show up, the team can't really, everything you talked about at the start of the show, it's like you can't really do anything. No calls work if you're just gonna die.
Yeah.
Nico is gonna wide swing through a smoke and just be there and get a kill there, and then Hunter is gonna activate in the mid round, like first rifle round or whatever. Like JK is getting a triple on ramp.
They kept testing.
JK is being like 15-5 after 7 rounds.
I get it. I get why you want to pressure ramp. Like it makes sense, but it's like, bro, this is the reason that JKS and Hunter are good big stage players. And I tried to describe this during the cast, and I described it to Justin better the other day because we went out for coffee. This was before the quarterfinal because I wanted to get my brain talking Counter-Strike. So I was like, how can I be selfish about this? Hey, Justin, you want to get a coffee? And he was like, yeah. Like, I'm going to use this walk to chat CS so that I can come in already on the cast, ready, fucking raring to go. And I was talking to him, I was like, the reason that you're a good stage player, the same as Hunter, is because you guys make the same decisions that you would, whether it is a fucking group stage game or a practice game, and the other players are the ones who wait a second or they make a misjudgment or whatever. And these
or they go over aggressive because they feel like they're supposed to do something.
Exactly. And these two make the same decisions no matter what, right? And that's why it looks insane to see them being able to make these type of plays, right? Hunter on Ancient, he wasn't able to get away with the same impact of frags that he did against Astralis the day before, but still got the space, right? Like that is really important to get that mid space, especially on Ancient. That's a map that I feel that I have probably the best grasp on in terms of like the macro and where you can pressure, because it's a map that I enjoy and I play the most and I probably watch the most. And dude,
I mean, it just opens up for everything, like literally everything as well. Like we were just talking about it. When we were watching Ancient, I'm like, I stopped liking Ancient for some reason. And then I watched the one round, you know, when it was like a 3v4 for G2 or something. And they were just about to execute B, but like all of a sudden, like ENCE pushed up mid and caught, I think Hunter was there or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were coming up lane and G2 just like came up lane, got those 2 trades on in middle, went up A, planted the bomb. And I was like, this is exactly why I like it, because there's so much possible movement that you can make on both sides. It doesn't matter. It's so quick. All the rotations, you can make a lot of fakes. There's a lot of the seesawing.
In my mind.
There's a lot of the seesawing. It really is a nice map to watch.
Yeah.
And so that's what I saw in that whole match as well. Like how, especially those two teams playing, because they both like to move a lot. They both like to search duels. Yeah. You know, they both have like players who will be in positions where they can make a play, you know. So dude, it's really nice.
When the CT side is blocking Donut with 2 or maybe it was even 3 smokes for Donut, just like you're not having, like you can tell these teams understand the game plan and the pressure that they're looking for. And it's like this map, and I spoke to Snappi about this during an interview during one of the media days, and he was like, I think no, it was when we were talking to Carrigan and Snappi, and I did an interview with the two of them about the game they played against each other, right? So I'm making them rewatch that 20-minute video that ESL made. And we're talking through it, and they both said, they think that this is one of the best maps in terms of being able to play slow and fast. You can do everything on this map, right? On both sides of the server. CT aggression, T real fast players. You can go all ins, pace change, that go slow default.
I mean, especially because the mid kind of like mid control meta, like you can literally go out or walk out A.
Yeah.
And you will be able to get
in the final.
It happened a lot, even in the I think Astralis heroic one, game, where like Astralis just constantly left it open, but then retook it because they were confident enough that they could. They just had the basics for the map down so well. They're just so good at knowing everything, like all the moves that they have to make to retake the A bomb site. So that can happen all the time, and you know you just have a retake situation that is, but that one that is playable for both sides.
It's so much better than like retaking A on Inferno. Which
is, no, 100%. There's options.
I mean, even B you can retake on Ancient just because the T's have nowhere to hide, like in the post plant. Like you have to be in cave, otherwise you're kind of screwed, or on ramp, and you have to be behind smokes, and there's going to have to be. Obviously, it kind of has the same feeling as Vertigo a little bit sometimes, where there's a lot of spokes spamming the cave wall and things like that, and smokes on the ramp when there's retakes. So sometimes it can get into like those weird situations, but it never feels like a situation that you cannot, like a 3v3 that you cannot win. Like when you play Inferno, or I mean basically any other map, there's always going to be situations that are kind of impossible.
Anubis, right? If we just go on the map before, you saw a lot of saves from ENCE down the stretch because they just needed one round, right? Which is understandable. But also,
that doesn't normally happen, no.
Well, the A site on Anubis, right? I would need like some of our fucking stats wizards, but just from watching a lot of games, if you're number disadvantage on the A site, T side, it feels like that's still a very winnable round, just because of the type of choke points that the CTs have to come through. But look, that could have been a 3-0. There were some fucking stinkers of rounds that G2 lost in number advantage scenarios. Mate,
but it was always like they were.
Fuck yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Snappi should be very proud of the way that he conducted himself.
Hunter, the way, I don't know if you remember that round, like where he just came up, what do you call it, underground, basically.
Just like
jumping back 10. Flew past Hunter. Like he had no chance of winning that duel. He was just like what the fuck was I supposed to do there?
Dude, there's that one, and there's the fucking. Do you guys? I don't even think we saw it from Hooksey's perspective. I hope somebody has it. If anybody has it, fucking tweet it at me. But Hooksey rotating down the vent on like the last or second last round or whatever the fuck it was, with an AK in his hands. He's coming down the vent into Madden, who's in the vent on the T side. And he has it on the fucking ladder, bro. We didn't see it from his POV, but I cannot imagine what that shot looked like. It must have been ridiculous.
He also went crazy after that. It was just like, what the fuck did this guy just do? So
Nico just like lost his mind as well. He was like, what? And that shot was fucking wild.
Yeah. I mean, obviously some of those things will happen, right? I mean, I don't think in that what's up?
I'm just saying Snappi
was the top
rated player of the match.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole story of this final, right?
It's just the oldest player ever in the playoffs of Cologne.
Damn, 33.
Yeah,
I mean, still a chance for me, boys. I'm making a comeback. I'm only 1 year older than Snappi. No,
we were having that conversation about 40-year-olds in the.
Oh yeah, we were last time around. Yeah. And then I looked at the age of Groove when he was playing in that stage round. I was like, Groove's 40. He's still of a fox, you know. I thought Groove was like, maybe like. Mid to late 30s. Group's 40. All right, he fucking. I'm just telling you, Groove.
The facial, whatever, the creams, whatever.
He doesn't. Yes, he doesn't have all the wrinkles like what I'm gonna have.
Yeah. No, but I mean, that's the fact that Snappi's on top. I mean, he had a great map, but otherwise, I mean, he was okay. He's not like he was amazing. That's the problem, though. Like, you cannot have you cannot have ENCE winning this final without Sampires doing what he was doing before. Like, he wasn't getting the same openings. Like, even on the Anubis map that they won, at the end, he had a couple of rounds that kind of helped them finish it. But it just felt like it was like kind of inflating his stats because it was already kind of over. Like, G2 were just coming back from like 14-6 or whatever it was. Yeah. So it just felt like Sampires was never really online, was never really a difference maker at any point in the game, So it's just that just tells you why ENCE just could not be able to. And I don't want to put it just on him because nobody else really stepped up. There was the Snappi Anubis one.
No, was okay on Mirage.
Nerds had some moments, but like across the entire series, it was basically nobody stepping up, So that is a problem if you want to play against the G2 that has fucking 4 people like Monacy and Nico. Like we gave the MVP to Nico, but it was so fucking close because Monacy was so good in the final too. Like you have 2 superstars basically like turning up in the final. You cannot beat that if you're ENCE. That's under
because sometimes it doesn't do nothing. When Diha isn't like he's like 2-9 or something on Ancient.
0 and 8 on Ancient.
Yeah, 0 and 8.
Yeah, but the problem was he was like they were exploiting 8 early on the anti-Eco's anti-force when he didn't have good guns, and then they were making him rotate around a lot. Yeah. And then like this is when like casting feels real good is when you talk about conditioning of a certain area of the map, like Hunter getting mid control all the time, and then Hooksey just fucking calls a fast A. And then Diha's playing mid with Nerds, I think it was. The other 3 played B, Sight giving up, rounds essentially over. It's like
great calling from Hooksey like this whole tournament.
Yes.
Like a lot of
and good fragging.
Decent fragging.
Well, no, for an in-game leader, Prof, I'm gonna say
no. I mean, he did like in the final. He was actually really. He was.
I didn't check the stats. I don't know what the stats say.
I think before the last map, he was 105 rated.
In the final, he had better stats than Hunter.
He did
104 rating.
Okay, but that's because of the Ancient map. It was because of the Ancient map because it made Hunter
good
like
fragging,
516 or something.
Like KD in the red, but like a lot of openings, I guess. So like high rating, like.
And I mean, I really like, for example, like
I'm just to say this is all us calling him out, talking about G2 on the podcast.
We weren't that bad, though.
No, we didn't flame him. We just talked about.
They can't win if he does it. Yeah.
So
he knew that.
Yeah,
probably.
But I don't know. Maybe it's us. It's not Swanee. It's us.
It's not Kassad.
Yeah. But sometimes you need someone from the outside to be like, fuck this guy. Why are these guys still talking this shit? I'm just gonna do better. Fuck this.
I'm trying to think. I was talking to Henry about some of this stuff today, and I think Henry and I are both kind of like we're not impartial. Like it's not like we don't have opinions. I'm just trying to see if I can find the dialogue between the two of us here. But it's like it takes a lot of energy to like be vehemently following like one side of any of this. Like to say, Hooksey, you fucking suck, or to say, Hooksey, you're amazing. No. It takes a lot of energy to like decide on one of those. And and people do that for every player or every team or every event. And the thing is, the thing that
it just makes things more fun, I think.
It does, of course. But of course it does. Of course it does. And there's obviously
that's the guy who actually does do that a lot, like where he just like decides one way and that's
but there's a disconnect, right? The disconnect is between like the pundits, which we fall into, and the players, right? And the thing is, they obviously feel hard done by because they don't feel like they're being represented fairly.
Sure.
But the best way to represent what they're doing, right? It's really difficult when you don't know what the coach is saying, what the in-game leader's saying, and they don't want to share that stuff, which I respect.
And it's also very difficult to just watch every game and be able to, and especially from their perspective, right? So like you will never have the absolute 100% like overview of what a player's input has been, even across the series, because like the camera is just not on them a lot of the time.
Yes.
And you will really have to rewatch shitloads of games and like from their perspective to have a really good opinion. And so sometimes you will just work off what you did see in that game, you know, and of course that's not going to be the 100% of the picture, but if you see that enough across enough games, then you can get at least an accurate enough sample.
But with what you're saying here, I try to highlight this, and it's very difficult to do all the time. But if somebody drops like the AWPer and AWP, it's like, well, he wouldn't have this if this guy didn't do this.
Yeah.
Or Hooksy drops an M4 and takes a 5.7. Like those things, it's like that stuff is probably where in-game leaders or support players feel like they're not getting their shine.
Sure.
But the thing is, I could say that. It's pretty boring to the viewer to hear that. Do they care where the fucking gun came from? Probably not. Do our viewers who are hardcores care? Yeah, they do, because they get the game on that nuanced level.
Yeah.
So we're talking like, this is the thing.
But this is also why like you're not like, especially if you're a player who's going to be kind of controversial, you're not supposed to watch like and listen to everybody.
Ignore it.
You have to just phase it out completely.
Yes.
Like otherwise it will go into your head. It's impossible. It is impossible to just like see whatever thousands of people is just say your shit in the game and just like not have it affect your confidence. Like you just need to tune it out completely.
I think that like what we do, right? We're talking here as three dudes who enjoy the same thing, but essentially the only thing that makes us different from a conversation that we're having and three other dudes on TeamSpeak or together watching the game in someone's living room or the people in the arena is the recording, is the fact that's on tape, right? But essentially what we're doing is just talk, right? And then we all do this. Like in our real life, we all just talk. It's like, you know, oh, that fucking Bullet Train Brad Pitt movie was shit. You know, like I don't think that. I think it was an all right movie. But, you know, like people's opinion.
I don't even know what movie you're talking about.
It's a good movie. It's one that's like set in Japan. They're on a train.
What is it called?
Bulletproof? Bullet Train?
Bullet Train.
Okay.
Someone in Twitch chat, let me know. Mitch's wife's in here. Maybe she can tell me.
The Twitch user.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of my favorite users.
Yeah.
And also a big one on the HLTV Bullet Train. It was Bullet Train, yeah. But it's a Brad Pitt film. Anyway, that was just a point I was making. Is like if you can think about it, it's just talk. The thing that matters is what happens in the actual game. Like all of this is window dressing, and we're just part of the entertainment cycle. Oh shit, I'm giving away all of our secrets. But it is just all talk, right?
Yeah.
So this is why you need to have galvanizing.
I mean, it's also
galvanizing.
There we go.
Yes. Brothers, let's fucking go.
That's exactly what came back to me. Oh shit, yeah.
We are fucking boomers, aren't
we are. But what do you think?
That song's a banger.
That's all I listen to.
Nice
Dude, I have a playlist on Spotify. It's called CS. I should add that to it. But I just pull on CS bangers in the green room and just fucking.
That should be a part of your sponsorship with the other podcast.
Yeah, but that's almost over. We only got a couple episodes left.
Not
only have to do video one, and then we're done. So it's all good. It's all good.
I mean, what I wanted to say about this topic, right? Like, we're still trying to make our opinion be as well-rounded as possible. It's just in the CS, like if we had a very straightforward cycle, you know, when you don't have multiple games going on at the same time, and you can just watch one game, one tournament doesn't take a full 2 weeks or whatever. You're not watching 100 games over a month.
Yep.
Of course, we can have a much better opinion and we can have a much better overview of every game, but we are still doing as much as we can to be able to talk about it in a way where...
And the fact that you're the person saying this, who tends to be like, I'm not saying you're like a fence sitter or anything, but you like to collect as much information as you can before you have a strong opinion about something.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you tend to be one of the more calculated, whereas me and Prof, you know, we're a bit more, we're quick to judge. We're quick to jump into an opinion here.
I feel like there are worse offenders.
There are, but I'm only talking about the three of us. So if we're comparing you and me to Striker, we don't need to compare us to anybody else.
That's fine.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Okay, here's a cool topic.
Mm-hmm.
Nico never won a Katowice or Cologne until this year, and he won both. Right?
Yes, indeed. That's true. JKS has won 4 out of 4 finals.
Oh.
The finals that G2, and the final is in with FaZe. The finals that Justin has been in over the last 2 years, he's won them all.
Is there I'm sure there must be somebody who's won 3 times the Katowice and Cologne, because he's won 3 times now.
He's won
in total. I mean,
1 Cologne, 2 Katowice, and a world final, right? But obviously there was.
But I mean, Crimson. Oh, it's it has to be the Fnatic.
Yes,
because they won the Cologne 2015. They won Cologne and Katowice, and they won in 27. Which one? 17, 8? I don't remember. one of these Katowice where Flusha fucking destroyed everybody. If you remember,
2018,
the phase, 2018 is the phase final,
Was it
right?
2018?
I think it might have been 2018.
And it was the best of 5. It was trained.
Yeah.
And Flusha winning
did,
some insane
like fucking destroyed
clutches.
phase on the last
That
map
was a
or
great final.
whatever.
That's one of the best of 5 finals ever.
That
That
is-
one and the one last year.
Yeah, and so okay, so I guess those might be the only ones who won 3 times. I could be wrong. I mean, I could just
Electronic
be
has
putting up
has 2 Katowice
and 2
and-
Colognes even.
Yeah, he has 2 Colognes for sure.
Yeah, one of them is kind of like studio event, so I guess I don't know. It's like shaky if you want to count that or not.
Yeah.
But I guess he's another one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So-
I mean, I was just thinking about.
Yeah, but he's
thinking
part
out
of
loud.
that, like that. Well, without a major though, like it's hard to like. That's the
Of course,
that's
it's
what
not the same.
eludes
It's not
all
the
of those
same.
players.
It's not the same love, right? It's not the same prestige. I was just thinking out loud because it's been the two big events for
But
such a long time.
it's starting to become something now, right? Like Carrigan built the narrative for us last year. Katowice, Cologne, and a major. He built that narrative, right? Which was great from Carrigan. Fucking fantastic. Helped us a lot. But like
For you.
well,
But it
we're
is just-
storytellers, right? In a
but
way,
we also-
or narrative pushers. I
Yeah,
think.
right. But it's not like this narrative has never been out there. Like we've been talking about this for several years. You know that these 2 events plus the majors are kind of like on the
big
highest.
4.
Was it
the
2015 that Fnatic won both, right? Okay, so 2015, then 2022, and then 2023. Right?
What are we talking about?
Katowice and Cologne.
What? Someone won both?
Yeah, so Fnatic in 2015,
Oh, okay.
when it was ESL 1,
Then
Right.
Luminosity.
and then, no, they didn't win both.
They didn't
in
win
the year.
Kato
who won Kato?
in 2016.
16,
Are
right?
talking about?
It was,
Fnatic? That was Fnatic. It was Fnatic. Fnatic,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The one that finished super late.
yes. Yeah,
That was
yeah, yeah.
Fnatic. That was like the dentist's lineup that won like 5 tournaments out of 6.
So yeah, Fnatic, FaZe,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and
You're,
G2,
you're right.
right? That's the double. All 3 of those teams have completed the double. I don't know what name we want to give it,
Sure.
but
Yeah, we don't have. We
That's-
can't
that's
call it
how
the
it-
Grand Slam because.
no, right? And well,
But
that's-
you were talking. Yeah.
but that's another conversation. Is
Yeah.
they get the notch in the Grand Slam? I think that did ESL announce if it's gonna? I think it's gonna carry over, right?
Well,
For the
I
Intel
don't know.
Grand Slam,
For the
you'd imagine.
CS2, yeah, they said
Yeah, I think they did, yeah. 'Cause they
I'm
wouldn't have- yeah.
99% sure that
Because they
did,
wouldn't
yeah.
have continued the season as of now.
Yeah, they would have just ended it at that
Yeah,
point. No,
and
but
waited for CS2.
yeah, they said they would take
Yes.
over.
Yeah, that is.
I
Right.
was so confused about like where I'm hearing these voices.
Oh
from.
yeah, I got my window open.
And now I'm figured out it's like the people downstairs. I can't wait for people to complain.
Mate, I was here like one of the early nights. What about us?
No, about them downstairs.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Where
But
did
there's, like,
this beer appear from?
the beer man?
Bro, did you not see
I
me?
literally did not
got up,
I did
opened the
not.
beer, brought
That
them
did not
back.
even do that. Okay.
Do an interview with the whole G2 team as possible. There's a G2 party. I don't think they're going to be fucking.
Yeah, I
coming
mean,
here
we're
by
not-
any
we're not
stretch of
gonna
the
do it.
imagination.
I think this.
How about
party is
we
really-
get
really good
somebody?
vibes.
Huh?
We get somebody.
We get somebody next
title?
for next episode. Well, they're going to
Riyadh, right? Yeah.
But it's still a bit. It's like a week away, actually, right? It's
Most
gonna
people
be,
would probably be flying on Saturday or Sunday next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Okay,
So,
maybe
We'll see,
at some
we'll
point
see,
after.
we'll see. Maybe Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, I don't get home until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tuesday.
Maybe Hooksy would
anyway,
want to
we'll see.
come with us. Maybe Hooksy might
Hooksy,
want to.
Hooksy is he's the
Yeah.
kind of guy who doesn't
Especially,
do anything anyway.
I
so-
mean, after winning.
But they probably won't, like, as much as this will be surprising to people, I imagine you wouldn't, like, it's $1 million in Riyadh, right? It's 400,000 for
yeah, but it's
prize.
also like
How many
potentially
games
just one
is-
series.
Yeah, right.
Wait, it's 16 teams. So that's 4 series to win. So
Yeah.
$250,000 per.
Round of 16,
per win.
8, 4-2, 4 series.
Okay. Yeah,
How
well,
does
I wish it
how
was
does
a
that
million.
compare to the hourly salary you get from ESL?
A salary.
Yeah, not
I'm
salary.
a
but,
freelancer. I
not
just want to let
salary,
everybody
but-
know that I get paid on a event-to-event basis,
okay.
and
Not-
I
not-
have to
I
send an
mean,
invoice.
you know
I do
what I
not
mean.
get a.
Salary.
I don't know. I'd have to do the maths.
I feel like
I'm
like
pretty well paid
more
though.
or less the same.
I'm pretty well paid.
Yeah.
I think I'm
I think a grand final pays like $100,000.
very well compensated for the work I do. I don't get paid $100,000. Holy shit! I wouldn't need to do too many more of those, and I could retire.
Fucking Taylor Swift money.
Right? I wish yeah, but I'm just trying to think. If I'm G2, like you could in essentially a month, you could make $800,000.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
How do
Right?
you mean 800,000?
Well, what was first prize here?
400.
Yeah, it's 400 in Riyadh as well.
Okay, okay.
So 800,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're still kind of like that's skipping a lot of steps at the moment. I mean, skipping 4 series, and whatever. It's a lot of big teams as well,
Okay,
so it's
we're
not
gonna-
like it's going to be easy.
It's
and it's
top
also
10
hard-
teams in the world.
Yes, it's a good event.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in terms of
Yeah,
the
in terms of
caliber
competition,
opponent.
it's
Yeah.
really nice.
But so what do we think right now? Because what we're saying, like Well, we're not saying.
We kind of finalized the discussion about the tournament, right? Like
Yeah,
about
well,
the
we don't
about
have.
the final.
We can go everywhere.
I'm just saying.
I mean, we
think about
can
Dimitri.
still reflect on kind of playoffs in general, because there obviously were a couple of surprises. We didn't really talk about Vitality or Australis or Heroic.
What do you
and
make
things
of
like this.
Sorry, what do you make of Cloud9?
I think, I mean,
Obviously,
you could
it's
tell,
early.
you could tell that they've just not had official experience from that series that they played. Like, you could tell that they just went in super dry. Like, they were so off so many times, like timings. Electronic was
Yeah.
way ahead of the play so many times.
I
think
think
it's
time.
like,
on the
yeah,
team
yeah,
side.
and there were just a lot of weird situations that I saw as like, this is not what a like well-drilled team would ever do. Like, you could tell that it was just a new team, and I was disappointed by that, just because
We all
yeah,
want
we were a bit
Because he
dreamy.
went double Cloud9 in fantasy.
Yeah, I also went double
What?
Cloud9 in
How many points did you get?
I was top 97% after the first
Oh,
game.
Like,
I think, I don't know what my, actually I will check my result now
I
because
ended
it's over, but
top
I had Huxi and
16%, I think.
whoa, I had Huxi and Monacy, so that kind of balanced out a
let me
little
see
bit,
how
but
it
I
is.
think mine is
I'm
still
gonna
shit.
check
I
how
think
it
mine
is.
is like, okay, I'm top 58% after the start. Is actually not terrible. So I get 4 points. I mean,
So
that's not horrible.
someone in chat says C9 getting Axel back in stage might not have been a good thing. I understand that sentiment, but I still think that Axel is infinitely an upgrade regardless.
Bro, there was I'm forgetting the map that actually happened, but there was like a round where it was like Axel diff. It was like from Pit
Was
to
it from
Inferno, I think.
Inferno?
Right.
Yeah.
That was like that.
With the
Buster does not do,
USP.
yeah. When it was dropping and like he
Yeah.
got the kill from like midair. It was not an USP. I think it was a force buy or some shit. I think
With the 5-7.
Yeah, it was a 5-7.
Yes.
and that like there were a couple of those rounds that like Buster would not do that. Like those rounds would not go Cloud9's way. It wouldn't even be close on Inferno, things like this. So like there were a couple of those situations where I was like, no way they do better with Buster. They just look too off. And we were talking about the route that they had through the tournament. I mean, this was Vitality. This was Vitality they were playing against, and so
that was tough.
Much better
but
team.
their group stage, they were fortunate. They got easier opponents. They had Monty 9 and stuff like that. Then they get the test against
Legion.
Vitality.
Yeah.
I think I actually got to speak to Electronic out the front after that night, and I was talking about it. And like he's pretty confident about the future.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually kind of surprised that they took it in stride after they lost that overtime.
Yeah.
After they lost the series, I was kind of surprised because I really thought that from the way that I saw them kind of be really in tune and just like be really switched on for the whole group stage, it really meant a lot to them.
Yeah.
To go far. That suddenly, okay, they lost in overtime. That was fine for them in that moment. Very quickly after they lost, they were just laughing at each other. They were just having a good time. So I guess still the pressure wasn't there necessarily just because of the situation that they were in. They only got exiled back, and probably I'm sure that they're thinking fine. They're thinking we're going to be fine.
Electronic Prof.
Yeah.
In this new team.
Yeah.
Not just like in the server or anything. Like him as a human being now, he's a fucking baller.
Yeah.
Like he has so much confidence about him, and talking to him as well. His English, he's more than happy to talk to us. I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
The one thing I did like about, even though he had a really stinker series in the end,
Sure.
on the beginning of Mirage was all him. Like there was
Tech
nothing
9
else.
rounds.
There was a Tech 9 round, but you can tell that Electronic is literally what Cloud9 needs, because they always needed somebody who would take over and suddenly just push. And he would do it with confidence in a way where like, I'm going to take over the game now.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Classic
it didn't work.
in-game leader of modern Counter-Strike.
Of course, but he's the guy who's been that for several years.
Yeah.
Even outside of his leadership roles, he was always the aggressive guy who would just like make plays in really big situations. Well, like Harry did that article about like who steps up the most in playoffs. Electronic was super high up on the list, like number 3 or something, who overperforms. When the spotlight is on. And you could tell that from that quarterfinal, even though he didn't have the best like individual series, you could tell he was the one pushing for it. And I like that about him, this addition to Cloud9, just because that's literally what we've been missing from them. Like it was so easy for them to not have somebody other than Nafany, who obviously is nowhere near the individual player that Electronic is.
Yeah.
Like he can have that like attempt, but he's not going to do it with the same confidence. He's not going to have the same success as an Electronic would now that the Cloud9 is there, And so once they get it down where the team will be used to following him in that, because they were really disconnected a lot of the time from him. He was the guy who was pushing for it, but then the team was too far to support him.
What is happening? And
like,
why is he getting kills as well? Like, this is not how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
It's supposed to go, he pushes in, dies to a Molly nade combo, and then we just wait.
And then the team just like, So I mean, that was
laughing about, Chad.
Because I'm remembering that game, and I'm remembering Shiro going, you know what? The AWP, my absolute best weapon. I'm going to throw that in the bin for an entire T-half and literally just rifle banana control like I'm an entry fragger.
Oh yeah, he did have a couple of those rounds too. Yeah.
But he was taking the space. It wasn't just that he was converting the kills. He was the first guy in banana. And Shiro as well, his evolution as a player, like he has now got, if you're thinking who's the second most aggressive player in Cloud9, who are you thinking?
I mean, probably Exile.
Yeah.
You think Exile?
Yeah.
I think Shiro, from what I saw.
I mean, this
I mean,
game,
you're
I can
talking
say,
about just this tournament.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
like if he is the guy who gets banana control, if that's the way they're going to approach, he's put in a position where he has to fight. They're not even
right.
They didn't even play a T. They didn't even use the AWP on the T side of Inferno. You have Shiro, the guy who broke onto the scene. The first clip I remember of Peter, I call him. Is it? Do you guys say Peter? You guys say Peter, but he has an AR at the end.
But you know what's funny? Actually, people call him Peta.
Petsa,
because they're both.
That is how
they're both Petar.
So it should be Petsa for.
I mean,
for like
all,
kind
all
of like
them.
a pet,
all
like
of,
a pet name is for Peter is Petsa.
So just so everyone is clear, I'm talking about one of the guys at HLTV. I guess he's a consultant now or something, right? Isn't he?
He's still with HLTV.
We never hear from him anymore. But
he doesn't tweet. He's just stopped tweeting all of a sudden.
I hope he's doing all right.
He's doing all right.
He's such a nice.
He
guy.
was he's still
I went
deciding.
to Belgrade recently.
You are?
Hung out with
You
them.
saw him?
Still good.
Well, that's good.
You should go as well.
Yeah, I should. I haven't seen him in years. He's a nice guy. I really like him.
Yeah,
and he's got a good mind for Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah,
of course.
One of the best.
Probably the best, which is why I wish he would tweet more, because I love to read his opinions on things. But anyway, it's all right. So Petsa, the different guy that we're talking about here. Where was I going with this?
Different Serbian guy as well.
Where was I? What was I even talking
the
about?
First clip of Exile from Copenhagen Games.
No, it wasn't Axel.
Okay,
it was Shiro.
Yeah.
I think he retweeted it, or I remember seeing it.
Okay.
But it was Shiro coming out of apartments on Inferno and just fucking doming people.
Right.
That's the round I remember.
Okay.
And you know, that's with an AWP, right? To see Shiro mainly rifling, that maybe that was the condition. We have to see more maps and stuff, but I fucking love it because Shiro, to me, he is so young that his evolution as an individual over the next couple of years, he still has the hunger. CS2, he's gonna fucking lap that shit up. I cannot wait to see more Shiro.
But that was the top 22 years ago, and you could tell that like he was really missing those moments where he will take over games like on his own with some aggressive plays. You know, like ZywOo is the guy who is generally more passive and more supportive, but he will just always step up in games in positions where he knows he can, like where he just has a really good game sense for
intuition.
Exactly, like this is where I can entry, like the whole banana round, like when where he just like runs up banana, just kills 3 people and just decides the round on his own. Like those rounds is exactly what Shiro's was missing from beating ZywOo in that fight for the top 20, maybe in the last one.
Yes.
And in the previous one, he was the one who just saved too much. Like he wasn't aggressive enough in some positions, you know, where he wasn't taking over games enough. I think Electronic is the guy who can get him there.
Yeah, no,
like
he's
already made that transition on his own to some level.
Yep.
On like probably through his own thinking or groove or whatever it is. But I think Electronic is the guy who will just get him over that line and get him to become like maybe not on the same level as like peak ZywOo, but at least like to make those same plays.
I mean, it also helps that like ZywOo is currently the best player in the world, and he's like the best AWPer maybe in the world, but he's not even AWPing. Like his main weapon is not the AWP.
It's
like
the rifle.
He's rifling more than AWPing.
Yep.
Like if you're playing fantasy, don't put the AWP role on ZywOo. You're not going to get the max points, even though it's like the easiest thing to get. So I think that's also has to inspire you. Like everyone always looks towards the best team, but also the best players. So if ZywOo can like rifle half of the time, then maybe I should rifle to help my team win, you know?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But there was a lot of like, let's stay with ZywOo, right? And there was a lot of the opposite of fanfare. What do you think about? Because I don't I'm staying out of this.
I have to say, it's very interesting how people seems to like to hate more on ZywOo than on Simple.
100%. There is I don't understand
why. How the fuck is this real life?
ZywOo's the nicest guy in the world.
What did this guy ever do to anyone? I understand.
And also his playstyle is much more like stable than Simple's. Like Simple's goes for the crazy plays and all that stuff. Like ZywOo does it in a way where it's not crazy. It's just like it's so fucking calculated, and he takes all the fucking right duels, even though it looks kind of like, you know, a little bit crazy.
I understand it comes I presume mainly from the argument of like who is better, and then people feeling
they
like
ZywOo is
overrated, and therefore if he's overrated, every time he does poorly, this proves that he's bad. But like this is such an insane concept. I don't even have to explain why this is wrong.
The consensus of the professional Counter-Strike players right now, you ask them who is the best player in the world right now, ZywOo. It's not even a conversation. I asked them, they don't wince. They don't go, no, it's simple or ZywOo. No, they go ZywOo. ZywOo is the best right now.
It's crazy just how good he is at everything. Like you watch him play, and he's like, fucking. You name the thing that maybe outside of communication, people can't really judge that. Who the fuck knows? Like how good he is in communication. Like you would have to listen to him all the time and like see how it is. I'm sure that's good too, by the way. But like outside of that, anything that you can see in the game, he's probably in like the top 3 in the world in every single aspect of the game.
People see big maps, playoffs, grand finals, but that's like complete, just like cherry picking arguments, because he loses grand final of Cologne 2019 when Liquid win. He is the MVP of the tournament.
Sure,
you know, it's the biggest Cologne, one of the biggest tournaments in the world. When he was the #1 player, that was
online,
when he also
right?
no, but the first year before that.
2019.
He broke out as
2019 was his breakout year, wasn't it?
I mean,
first year
directly
to
when he
#1
came on. Like late 2018 is when he came on.
2019 is when it was like, holy shit, ZywOo is fucking
so
amazing.
his first year was on LAN.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Well,
Like,
he didn't choose to go online. I'll tell you that.
I mean, the point also is
let's just say ZywOo did not make COVID. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he wasn't in a LAN.
Hold up, ZywOo may have.
Oh,
Maybe connected to that lab. We're going to be taken down. Sorry, Dimitri. Demonetized.
Yeah,
that's like
I think people took the whole Thorin kind of agenda a little bit too seriously, because like look at how many MVPs he has online, and people are like, oh, that means everything's like he did. It was at the beginning was online. It was not the case. He was just destroying everybody online.
Obviously, when you look at CSGO overall, Simple still has the crown in terms of like, because he obviously was also playing
much earlier
and had more chances to do stuff. But if we look at the time since these two were playing together not together in the same
against
team,
each other,
it is very similar.
50-50,
It's very similar, and it's like Simple never had a bad grand final. What was like a face it major? Like he definitely did not perform in a chance for Navi to win that final. They could have won it. Like he just wasn't there. There are a lot of situations where Simple didn't perform, and that's not how we remember Simple. Like, oh, he's a choker. Like,
I mean,
that's complete bullshit. It's not true.
Just look at 2021, right? Like he had the 1.4 rating in playoffs in big events or something.
And people are going to
stupid.
People again are going to say, that's legit, but not 70% of that year was online.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's always going to be detractors of things, and I think that the
and also it was studio, by the way. So it's like everything else was studio. Nothing was apart from Stockholm, obviously.
Sure, there was no crowd.
Legit.
Stockholm
one of the best.
Finals,
That was one of the best performances at major ever.
Yeah.
Legit. Oh, obviously, no hate on Simple. I think he's amazing.
Yeah,
but I also think ZywOo is amazing.
I love Simple. I get to look. Simple is another great guy. Like I understand that people don't like love how the fact he's like really hard line and everything like that. I have the privilege of getting to talk to these people like they're just another person. And when I get to talk to Simple, I just sit there and I ask so many questions, and he'll answer me candidly, and he will tell me what he thinks about things, and he will open up his Counter-Strike brain. I don't have the same relationship with ZywOo, and that's probably my own doing. If I spoke to ZywOo, he would chat to me. I was in the lift with him last night on the way up, and I understand, like, this is the thing with players after they lose, I tend not to talk to them, right? Because I understand what it feels like to lose. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Also, what are you going to ask? Like, I always ask people like, how you doing? And that's my like go-to opening. But I keep asking people.
Ask a player
but then I ask people that just lost the grand final or like have a shitty situation in their country. Is like, how are you doing? Like, maybe.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
Yeah,
bro.
it's fucking.
But
sucks.
I tell you, I did because I saw Apex was tweeting because HLTV Forums had it up, and then I realized that Dan is probably reading the stuff. I hope ZywOo isn't, but I saw ZywOo in the lift, and it was an entertaining game of Counter-Strike. They could have won 2 maps, and it could have been a 2-0, or ENCE could have won 2 maps, and it could have been 2-0 either way, right?
Crazy.
It was he disappeared on the 3rd. Sure, whatever. Like, I'm not going to fault him for that. It's a fucking ENCE played good Counter-Strike yesterday. They played really well. Madden had his fucking number. Every time ZywOo thought he had a chance, Madden just went, "You're dead, motherfucker." I saw ZywOo in the lift, and I wanted to know, like, and I said to him, "How are you feeling?" And I wasn't asking that as like a go-to opener.
Yeah.
I wanted to know how he was feeling. He said, "Yeah, it sucks." And I was like, "Yeah, it sucks." But then because of all the stuff that people were saying online, like this probably means nothing. And I'm sure the people at home feel this too. But I wanted to, when you're talking to a person in person, right? You say something nice to them. It means so much. When the people here come to me, "SPUNJ, I love your commentary," it means more than 100 negative comments on the internet.
Yeah.
And I said to him, ZywOo, I love watching you play Counter-Strike. You're always entertaining. And then I walked out of the lift, said goodnight, right? And he may have been feeling miserable about his performance, and probably me saying nothing, me saying something probably meant nothing to him. But like, he is one of the best Counter-Strike players to ever touch the fucking game. And he had a bad map on Vertigo and they lost. Right. They didn't make it. And they just changed the player, right? The last thing that these people should be thinking is that they fucking suck. These people are amazing to go out there time and time again and continue to produce at the top level of Counter-Strike. It is fucking so cutthroat, this level of competition.
Right.
There are so many kids at home, and hopefully some of those kids are watching right now who are grinding fucking thousands of hours. That's all they do. They just sit, they play. They want ZywOo's job. They want Simple's job. This is a highly competitive industry. And look, I get it. Once more, we return to the punditry conversation. For us, it's talk. For us, we are providing a different source of entertainment from the headshots in the server. Right now, people here are going to have arguments with their friends about who they think is best.
Yeah.
Right? You can think whoever you want is best. And that is part of the thing. That's entertainment in itself. Yeah. But like, the cool thing that we get to see is the human beings. And I fucking love it. Dude, you will not believe. And people are going to think I'm a fucking, I don't want to use the type of language, but people are going to think I'm a little bitch, right? But I get so emotional at these events because not only do I get an opportunity to empathize with how the players are potentially feeling in these moments, I get to see the human beings who have come out to watch them. And this is just, all this is community, guys.
I mean, 100%.
All community. That's what all of this is.
You know what it is? Like, I have this experience, and I've had this for several years now, where like whenever I'm watching online, I just never have the same connection to the game, and just because of even to the players, right? But whenever I am at tournaments, and especially if I'm working them, specifically like doing interviews with players, I have any interview I do. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what it just happened to them, if they just won or lost. I'm always super in tune to the player, and like I'm super sympathetic, and I'm like, I completely understand their perspective. Always like I'm super in tune, and it's like there's the disconnect of when you just watch people, or just like you listen to them, or you read their comments sometimes online. You know, it's completely different than when you actually get to speak to them in person. Like, you suddenly realize who that other person is. It's not just a couple of words, or it's not a headline that describes them. You know, so I just always have that. Every time I do interviews, like, even though I read them after, it just has a completely different effect on me. Sure. Like when I actually read them compared to when I was doing it.
Sure.
So it's the same words, it's the same thing, but just the connection is somehow not there anymore once I read it after myself, almost.
But that's why when you do those audio ones, right?
That's
the
also
voice,
helpful.
The way it sounds, like everything like that plays into the context of all of this.
Of course.
And I think that's like hugely important to when people, like, if you go back and read something as opposed to watch it or listen to it, it gives a different vibe. Like, I can say the same words, but if I'm talking with my hands and I'm, open and I'm verbose and everything, like, it's going to give you a different impact, right? Than if you would just read it or whatever, course, right? And it's the same thing. Like, it is a true point. Like, the stuff that, like, I'm not immune to criticism, and neither are the players. Like, my job is forward facing as well. I don't win or lose. People don't bet on me, but some people just don't like what I do. And what I do is subjective.
If anything, for you, it's more important than for the players to have a good community perception.
Yeah, but the thing so somebody in here just mentioned it right now, and it's like, SPUNJ, why is your only reaction right? And no, but this is the critique of people about me, right? And look, I understand that people who are watching at home, as you just mentioned, they're not in the arena, they're not feeling the vibe of things. A pedestrian 2K in a group stage or an online match is a pedestrian 2K. Yeah. Anybody can do that. Only the best Counter-Strike players in the world can walk out in front of 10,000 people with all the lights on them, all the pressure, all the nerves, and do that.
And it's also because, like, the stakes are completely different.
100%.
It's not a group stage game. It's like, this is for the fucking title. It's for the fucking title. Yeah.
It's fucking
But there's
different.
also just a technical aspect of that, because arena is different in terms of casting, in terms of audio. Like, we were talking about it on the opening. For example, the opening ceremony had these like interview clips and like comments from players and stuff like that. And you actually can't really understand what people are saying because the audio setup is so basic.
You couldn't hear it in the arena?
You can, but sometimes like if you're having a conversation with your co-caster or whatever, sometimes like you will lose words and things like that. Like, it's just too basic. So, there's a lot of noise around you already. Like,
what you need from a cast for an arena is that, just like, bang, bang, bang. I don't want to hear you talk about like in-depth stuff. I do, and obviously when it's a lull, then it's easy. It comes through perfectly. But if it's a highlight moment happening and the crowd is going off, if you're going to be breaking down something or trying to explain too much, it's literally not going to come through to the audience.
And you're in the arena, so you feel all that vibe. So like people online, they can't understand.
I don't think the crowd mics were great at this event.
I can't speak to that so much.
So I can. I don't know what it came out to people at home. So people listening, I'm sure they can attest to this better than I can. But what I'm receiving in my ear, right? So what I need is me and Machine need a good audio mix.
Sure.
We need to know what is being felt, right? We need good in-game audio so we can hear the footsteps and hear the diffusers. We need to know the pulse of the crowd. And that is essentially it. During group stage, what I need is good in-game audio and to be able to hear the players raw. If the round ends and it's dead silent, it makes it difficult for me to bring the excitement. So in the arena, that atmosphere, I'm riding the wave of the crowd. If the audience at home who are watching on Twitch, the ones who want to make a post on HLTV about me and fucking rip me apart, that's fine. I'm getting too old to give a fuck.
Don't give a fuck.
But that stuff there, like they probably don't feel that vibe. And I understand I would think it's obnoxious too.
But it's also like, that's just the problem of having like two different audiences at the same time. And that's why like football doesn't have arena commentary. So it's you just casting for the people at home. It's a completely different scenario. So it's never going to be perfect in that. And that also doesn't mean that like you can't do anything better to like improve the experience for people at home. Like no one is perfect, but
well, there's another thing that goes through my mind as well. I am 99.9% confident that they can hear reverbs of grenades going off or bass.
Oh yeah.
I am 99.9. Oh, Katie knocked on the door. Okay. How does he know my room number? He did.
Okay. If this is a troll. This is a troll. 100%.
We're about to find out.
If he's trolling.
I don't know how he got my room number.
If he's trolling.
But anyway, long story short, I don't want to be.
He's
Casper?
trolling. He's trolling.
Oh, okay. Trolling.
Oh my god.
Well, if he wants to come by, I'm in room 479.
He's so done. He's so done now.
That's all right. He can, if he's on the 4th floor, he can come on up. But what was I saying?
I'm so fucking disappointed.
I forgot what I was saying.
I'm not.
It can't be that important.
It's gonna take us some time, but we're gonna get even.
I don't want to.
I'm promising this right now.
Hey, there's comments that say SPUNJ saying second letter of the alphabet. Why do you think I'm saying that? I don't want to be screaming, they're going B. There's 3 players B. They're going into the stack on B. And then they play here and then they don't go B. You want me to ruin the fucking game for everybody, guys? Is that what you want me to do? No, I'm sorry at home that you don't like one of my phrases.
Don't listen to that shit. I mean, honestly, like
we're gonna get hotel security called on us for you.
No. They'll be
you
fine.
actually played CS here, so it's gonna be fine.
They'll be all right. They'll be nice with me. They'll be okay with me. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. The security here, mate. When we were here the first few nights, when we first came to the hotel, and everybody, the same kind of vibe as it is out there right now, because everyone's catching up. And this was like on media days before we got into work. And we're all hanging out there. It's fucking, dude, you would not believe it. It was 10 o'clock at night. We're on the patio. The guy comes up and says, "Can you guys keep it down?"
I was there like 3 days ago. It happened.
Almost fucking lost my shit at him. I was at 10 o'clock and it's a fucking patio. What are you guys expecting? You built this.
Why'd you build
the hotel like this if you don't want people to talk? What do you want me to do? Shut the fuck up? WhatsApp? I'm checking WhatsApp. All right, I'm checking WhatsApp. Hold on, I'm checking WhatsApp.
Whatever.
Let me see. I have 67 messages on WhatsApp. Justin says he's here.
Short ad break.
Where is he? Where's who?
I don't have. What am I looking for on WhatsApp, Lucas?
We can do a short ad break. We can do a short ad break.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do that, and then
keep the sponsors happy. I'm gonna go take a piss.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool.
It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. Good vibe.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Do you want to change your boring old skins for awesome new ones fast, without losing a lot of value, and without the risk of getting scammed? Go to tradeit.gg and safely trade your items within 60 seconds. Just select which items you want to trade from your inventory and choose whatever skin you want from Tradeit's inventory. Click Trade, verify the trade on Steam, and you're good to go. With the biggest inventory available for the lowest trading fees on the market, tradeit.gg is your go-to whenever you want to play with new skins.
Chad,
is not
is taking a piss. So this is our opportunity to destroy
heroic.
ESL. Actually heroic. Can't believe. Actually, let's talk about heroic.
Yeah.
Because
Can talk about heroic.
I was happy, not happy. This was Astralis. Astralis is a different thing. I was disappointed by heroic extremely. Not only
We were talking about this before, right?
Not only because I double picked heroic as I always do in fantasy, but because the way they lost for me was so meager. So they were so meek. I don't know if that's the right word. They were just like,
Makes a good word, he says.
it was the way they played. It's just, it wasn't heroic. It was honestly, their CT sides were so dull, so nothing. They didn't do anything. They just chilled and they gamble stack here and there. It was like watching like the bad Virtus Pro with James, you know.
Yeah.
When all they could do is like gamble stack sometimes, and that's it. No proactivity. And I don't know. Apparently they were scared to make plays because Astralis was, I don't know. I think in
so
their
many places,
at least in their heads, they were, you know, in front of them, you know.
Yeah, Astralis are omnipresent.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean,
that's kind of crazy.
Did you hear the KDN comments after?
No.
I was the interview straight after the game where KDN said something like, you know, as I told my guys, you know, it's impossible. There's like there's 5 of them. It's not possible for them to be 3B, 2 mid, and 2 aft.
Sure,
you know?
yeah,
He just didn't get the calculations right. That's the only thing he said for that. Like he didn't want to say more just because he hasn't reviewed the game and not talked.
That explains everything. That explains, like, that's exactly what I saw playing the game, like watching the game, not playing the game. Thank God. Because they weren't doing anything. They just left. I mean, props to Astralis. They're playing well. They're playing well this
Playing
tournament.
some of the best Counter-Strike in years.
They were taking map control, and then they were rotating, like faking out people. So good. Like it was, the T sides were looking so good. But that only happens because you give so much space, and then again, props to like someone like Buzz for delivering. And it's like, I don't know if he played a stage match before. He played something
in Dallas. He played quarterfinal,
but it's uncomparable to this, right?
Yep.
And he played amazing, and he got 2 kills.
Yeah, he did.
So that's
Mad
great.
Respect.
That's great from. But as I said, just heroic did not do anything on those.
So do they need to change roster, Prof? Maybe KDN will come knock at the door.
I mean, if they kick KDN, that's great.
Whoa, no.
I think that's a great.
That's not what I'm saying.
Great move.
I'm saying, do they need to make a personnel change?
I mean, at some point,
what do you do there?
The lineup on its course, right? The problem is now Astralis are back in the level where
they don't have anyone you want besides Device. You only to be honest, you only want Device from that team, and you're not going to replace him because you have KDN.
I mean, you would want BlameF.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want BlameF.
You have a leader in KDN. What, you're going to bring BlameF?
You don't have
what rifle?
Why the fuck does BlameF need to lead? He didn't lead until just now.
Why
well,
not both?
I think he's doing a very good job.
I think he is. I love the fact that
he's a better leader now than he was in Complexity.
Yes, for sure. I think he's just understood that, okay, he needs to be more in the pack and more to make plays like that are aggressive and things like that. He can't have the same roles. And I think that's part of the reason why Buzz is also in better positions now, and he's more confident in himself that he has a little bit more space than he used to before, because BlameF is at least more proactive in most situations. You know, like we still see him end up late in situations and like saving a lot, and like it's still kind of similar Blame, but more often than not he will be in the pack and he will be at least in somewhere in positions where he can open up the map as well sometimes.
But I think that's good for him though.
Yeah, for sure. Because you get stuck in playing the same way if you are still in the same position.
You don't want to be happy, man.
No, because you just end up in the same mindset, and you're just like, I always have to be the guy who closes rounds. No, sometimes you have to be Nico.
Regardless of the whole Blame F stuff, I fucking love New Device. I like New Device more than I like old Device.
It's kind of the.
You know, it's so fucking funny.
What is the difference, actually?
The attitude.
Yeah.
He has an attitude about him.
Yeah.
And the thing that he said in interviews that I loved was the fact that before he was playing because it's all he knew. Now he's saying, I'm playing because I want to play professional Counter-Strike.
Okay.
And it's fucking sick. Like, to see this guy, Mr. Nice Guy, Tom Cruise lookalike, fucking model, right? Handsome as fuck lad, great at the game, sitting there, beating you in a clutch and just going, hi. I would be like tilted out of my fucking mind, man. It's like, can you not? can you either yell me down or just don't do anything? Don't taunt me with hi.
But it's also the fact that he's playing like Counter-Strike that like we used to call kind of calculated and boring. And like if you look at Counter-Strike now, he's a fucking exciting player. Like he was like on Ancient, I think it was the game against G2, I think that was like where he was like literally pushing up down middle like with an AWP.
Yes.
And just like in positions like where you would see nobody else these days, almost nobody else,
I don't even know who do you say who would you two say that the most aggressive AWPers are right now? Because Device is definitely up there.
I mean, now Device is up there.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking. I mean, Monesi is one of them for sure.
Sampaius was very aggressive. Well, he was calculated in his picks. He had good intuition yesterday, right? He felt the game
but
very
I feel like
well.
no one else does like what Device is doing right now.
No, I think Device is what he's always been, the perfect combination.
Yeah.
Of like he knows when he's supposed to be passive, he knows when he's supposed to make a play. And in this team, I think he's forced more to think that he needs to make a play.
Yes.
And that's why he's more aggressive than we perhaps would have seen him before. But he's still the same kind of a player where like he will repeat, like he will like.
People are saying Dexter.
I want to say Dexter as well, but he's not even playing now. So
I liked Afro. Like I don't like it was the re-aggressors from Afro that I liked. They set him up for a lot of fights, which I'm sure Dexter made as like a key thing. I was like, I'll let fucking Torji tell everybody I didn't set him up. He's like, I'm gonna let Afro go for every fight. So Afro was going for a lot of duels. It was the Afro re-picks where he was so confident in the re-clear. Already scoped, or ready to scope, but I don't know. Device is really exciting to watch.
He also, I mean, he dies sometimes. He does get caught off. Device that is, and he sometimes even misses shots, but he sets himself up and goes for so many shots. Like he really goes out. It's really nice to see in the current meta someone that's doing that. I don't know. Obviously, Simple has his own stuff. Monesi has his own stuff.
Yeah.
Dexter not really there, but like. Comparing to like Shiro or Brokey or some of these guys, it's like a completely different. It doesn't even feel like they're playing the same role in some ways.
Sure. Yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah. I mean, I just generally liked. I mean, they were also giving a lot of props to Blame for that game against Heroic specifically, and I could tell. Yeah, and I could definitely tell why. Like he was calling out the fakes a lot. Like he was calling out Heroic's rotations constantly, and maybe it was also like Heroic chasing their tail a lot of the time. They're just like. Getting too overexcited as they do often. Heroic have that kind of a play style that looks amazing when it works, like when they get the reads right and when they rotate and when they get the stack right, but it looks fucking terrible when they get it wrong all the time. At the same time, I think Astralis really did call it out a lot of the time. Late rounds when they spotted, okay, there's too much utility here or whatever it is, that tipped them off. They rotated off. Like it happened so many times where I saw them either bait it out with some like really late round fakes and just like make the last second rotation, or they spotted it in time and didn't go into the stack when they realized it. So just really props to Blame Up for that one. Buzz was the guy who was like executing the entries. Like he was executing the
bring it up
fakes
like Heroic Astralis game.
Yeah.
How many T side CT side rounds did Heroic get? Like 7
8?
3?
No, wait.
It was 3
0 on Ancient, obviously.
It was 3 out of 17, I think. No, or 6 out of 17. 6 out of 17, I think it was.
3 or
7? No, wait. They said a T side. Hold up.
Yeah, it's 3 rounds.
Yeah.
3 rounds.
Jesus.
In 2 halves.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
So 3 out of 17. I think I was looking at the stats. I forgot.
For Heroic.
That is really bad, right?
Which is literally defined by their CT.
But it is like it was. I think really, in all honesty, I think it was a combination of Blame for doing the right calls and Buzz executing those entries so many times. 3 on 2 maps. There you go.
Sorry, Casper.
I think it was just like the perfect storm for Astralis. I did say that I can see the upset happen for the reasons.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go
But you think he's sitting in his room right now?
Well, what is he doing?
He might be on the 5th floor or something.
What is he doing watching this?
He already did the pre-show and the analyst test today, right? And he did it in the fucking champion hoodie. If anyone's an ESL shill, it's that motherfucker. Why am I the one, man?
No, but I was saying that like it was the perfect storm for Astralis. Like Blame did all the right calls, and Buzz was always there when like they were doing the last minute rotations, or like he always got that entry when they were, especially on Inferno, like they were opening up A side. He always got the entry. There was that one lurk when he was on long, and they were just about to rotate off from B. There was like 20 seconds left on the clock. He gets that one kill that's like changes everything. Like literally, he doesn't get that kill, they lose the round. He gets that kill, they win the round. And that's literally what's made the difference all the time. Like those two things together, one of them doesn't work, they probably lose. You know, either or. Like I really liked how that worked out together. Obviously, there was still device moments, and Blameless had a good series still, and all that stuff. But I think those were the keys.
Okay, so we started talking about heroic here. We're praising Astralis right now, which is fine.
And
I think they're in good
the
form.
next
But
game, they completely shit the bed.
Astralis,
But I
Like
think
Genji too, yeah.
I think that was
well, yeah, but yeah,
I said it in a tweet that I think they, at that point, and I even called it before the game, I think Buzz is not going to have that game again, and I think it's because suddenly it's becoming too real. You know, against Heroic, that's the Danish derby. That's like
it's an isolated match. Sure, it's a quarterfinal, but it's isolated, right?
And you also he just had that great game against Navi. You know, he's having some momentum, and he's going into the fucking Danish derby. You know, and that's just that match on its own. You know, but then you go into the semifinal, and you're like, okay, we're actually in a place where we can kind of win this. Like, there's a way where we can win this. You know. Which probably they weren't feeling necessarily like going into the heroic quarterfinal because they were the underdogs, but suddenly the underdogs beat the big favorites, and now it's becoming too real. It's becoming like they flew too close to the sun, I said on Twitter, you know, and I think that's what made Buzz just disappear in that semifinal. Like, pressure got too high, and also G2 were just like, G2 individually were just so fucking on point. It is unreal. That's why they won this entire tournament. I said it before the playoffs that I think they have the best chance just because of individual form alone. And you could see that JKS had, like, it was Nico and Monesi obviously in the final, but JKS and Hunter had constantly moments, you know, where they had like on Nuke, JKS on Nuke.
On the pistol round, gets 3 kills on top side on Nuke, for example, the ramp stuff.
Yeah, JKS on Nuke and Hunter and Mirage also had plenty of moments, you know, and then you had Nico and Monesi delivering numbers at pretty much every match.
You just reminded me of something. I want to make this fucking clear on the record right now. If anybody says I'm biased towards Justin, you're a fucking idiot. He had 16 kills, and I called him out for exit frags in a grand final. So if you think that I'm biased towards that motherfucker, I don't call anybody else out for exit kills.
But that's negative bias too.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the same thing. My dad used to be the fucking coach of my football team when I was a kid. You think I had it fucking easy?
No,
I don't have it easy at all.
That,
yeah, so this is the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
Not like, soccer.
Like soccer?
Yeah. I was a defender, right back.
I can see that.
Yeah. And my dad was a goalkeeper. I would have preferred to be a goalkeeper. I wasn't tall enough. Fucking crikey. I was just looking at the stats here in the final because I haven't looked at them till now. Of course, you're not winning if Snappi is the highest.
We were talking about this just literally.
I know, but like it didn't sink in. It didn't sink in. Like, I'm looking at the numbers in front of me now. Like, that ain't gonna work, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, was unfortunate moments for all of the players, but the difference between the semis and the grand final, and it isn't like you guys mentioned this too. This isn't just on some bias, but he was the key driving factor for opening kills.
I mean, he was the key for them pretty much winning every map in some degree, you know. So if he's not there, if he's not getting at least some of those openers, of course, ENCE we're not going to have the same amount of opportunities.
It's kind of the saddest way to lose a game, I would say. It's one
with your players not playing as well as they can.
It's like, what can you say? Like, Snappi,
hey guys,
can
you shoot them?
Yeah, like what can you say about this game? Like, better players won the game. That's kind of going into it. That's what we expect. It's either going to be, you know, the team's going to outweigh it, or if these guys show up, it's kind of not going to be a competition, and it wasn't, to be honest.
The desk framed it nicely.
Actually, there was a quote from Yanko that was like pretty much exactly this, and he did really frame it nicely. So like that's it. It never got into that like a brawl that like everyone got activated on ENCE.
But they tried to draw him into the mud.
Yeah.
Both these teams, after they lost pistols, went for force fires without plants, which was just, dude, like Mirage, when ENCE go for a B exec to try and like pressure Hooksy second round of that CT half, and it's like Hooksy and Hunter both just play anti-flash. They come out, Hunter takes first contact, Hooksy gets killed in the back. It's like, all right, easy. Like, these type of rounds now, the top teams are so good at their protocols for dealing with that shit. Like, and even bolstering that side of the map, the amount of times that these teams go, they're going to have this player mismatch, Nico defaulting B apartments versus Snappi. Okay, actually, to be fair, again, Snappi played really well. He did what he needed to do and more. And I think, like, for his age, is Snappi like the best individual player for his age? Who else is 33? I know that he vies for that by being an in-game leader, but honestly,
Yeah.
There isn't
I
even
mean, there's
another
not-
professional player.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
to be fair, there's not that many players who have reached this age and still kept playing.
but
so
so
it's like,
let's go
that is a
30 and up.
reason. There's
Snappi might be the best individual 30 and up.
Oscar.
Okay, man. What do we?
That is true. He Sinners eliminated Apex from CCT online finals today.
Who? Sinners.
Yeah,
Well, Neofrag will be joining again soon, right?
they're gonna be banging after that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
he will.
imagine if
He
that
will.
happens.
He will.
Of course.
Imagine
He
if that
obviously
happens.
will.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna shoot. It's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Plug.
Back to relevant
Back-
teams. Let's talk about EG.
Someone asked how old is Rain? How old is Rain?
28.
28.
28
Is
or
Ryan
9.
only
I think
28?
29. I think 9 he's turned already now, but he's somewhere on somewhere in the
Wait, Rain was in Kato in 2014. I remember sitting on
Yeah.
beanbags.
Rain
with
was
He
Rain was
was.
28 when he
What?
joined Neo and Forest as the only 28 plus who made the top 20.
Okay, I might have to go check
So
some
last
fucking
year,
ages.
so that would have been earlier this year. He was still 28. I don't know if he's turned 29 since, but
Fuck,
probably.
man.
Don't be an
Hell.
ageist.
No, well, yeah. Well, okay, all right, fair enough. Huh. What do you boys feel overall? We happy with this?
I have to. Yeah, I want to say one thing.
Oh, you definitely can say
Say
one
it.
thing.
I'm gonna just one negative thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
I have to say, I feel like the crowd was a bit sleepy. This was one of the most uninspired crowds in a big arena
Okay.
in a long time,
Okay.
and they should look in the mirror and
So
think better of
I
what
felt
they're
that
bringing.
about Kato at the start of the year as well, to be honest.
To be honest, yeah, maybe, but like this is the problem. Like it's a fucking great tournament. I've been here for the last 5 arena of Colognes. It's insane. Like the openings and all of these things, as you spoke at the beginning, like coming to how many 7, 8 Lanxess events.
7 or 8, yeah.
you
something like
really
that.
fine tune things.
Sure.
And the way that
Home crowd advantage.
the whole
Yeah.
cathedral theme, it's insane. Like as I said, the opening was so good. So many small details.
Did you like the opening?
that you don't like? I didn't like the choir thing. I think
Well, it's
that-
the whole musical
I
kind
think,
of.
I think the
like-
machine thing was better. Could have been a bit shorter. I think he was there for a bit too long. It's like it's cool, but then like okay, I'm tired of this.
Well, it was meant to be
but-
his silhouette for most
yeah,
of it.
but I don't know how it looked on
It looked
stream.
really good on stream.
I
'cause
believe
I-
it looked. It was cool. I liked it. But essentially, like all of the details, like the thunder and then the small LEDs and the lighting, fucking sick. Like obviously, full turnout, fully sold out and everything. And I forgot where I was going with this.
You was a
Crowd.
negative about the crowd energy, I guess. is where you're
Yeah,
going with
I
this.
just want to say I've been here a lot and comparing everyone going, not everyone, but this narrative that's supposed to be shipped, that people are trying to ship that is bigger than a major
Sure.
or that is on the
Yeah, here
same
we go,
level
here
as
we
a
go.
major
Yeah.
is such fucking bullshit. It's not.
Mate, you're arguing with your Vox Pop you did just the other day. You're not arguing
I'm-
against anybody else
I'm not
here.
saying you particularly. Obviously,
I'm not offended by this at all.
Obviously, ESL is going to cut things that make their event look bigger and better and stuff like that. But it's also like comes from all of the sides. And it's like it's not. If it was the biggest event, will people be doing roster changes before this? They wouldn't.
Probably not. No. Yeah.
It-
Well,
it-
what's
is
the?
it-
This
is
is
it
a
going
different
to
position.
is it going to define your career? It's going to help you, but like winning a major is always going to be better.
Yeah.
If you ask Nico, does he want a Paris major or this? He's going to swap
Say
instantly.
the major,
right?
Yep.
So, and the crowd at Paris was
Yes.
different fucking galaxy.
Yes.
Like here, people even last year there was the Roaring Bears people. They were like supporting Movistar, and there was like chants going on and all of this. Like here, when it was a good play, people would clap and get excited. Here and there was a bit, but it was like most of the time people were just sitting watching the game, and that was it.
Were you watching yesterday during the semi with ENCE and Vitality?
Something. Let me see. I don't know. I was watching. I don't know where I was.
But okay, so my reason for asking that is I wanted to get a temperature gauge on the energy you felt, because it's the same thing when I do my job, right? Like I still have to be entertaining and deliver the best I can, but the quality of the match determines how well I can do my job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How excited can I get? Right. Because people already, like as we discussed, think it's a bit egregious with the way I react to certain
Yeah.
things.
No,
but
no,
if
I
there is
mean,
a massive
As
play,
I said, if a game is good, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd. It's not like crowd didn't care about the game.
yeah.
But there was nothing outside of the game.
Do you think I know I get what you're saying. I'm gonna throw elements into this here. Do you think, and I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But do you think like today, I went around the arena. So I wanted to grab a burrito. There's a burrito stand out there. So I went out to go grab it, and people were standing in the rain for like 2 hours before they even get inside.
Yeah.
Because it was raining today. It's in the middle
It
of
was
summer
raining hard.
Yeah.
in Germany.
Bro,
It's
the
been raining
weather
for
is so
2 weeks.
shit, I can't
Do you
believe
think
it.
that that has any impact on what you're talking about? Or do you think,
I don't know.
because Katowice was the start of the year, I felt the same way, and it was cold then too. Like, I'm not saying that weather is the reason. No, but seriously, like,
air
but it was-
quality.
Look, it's been shit here for 2 weeks
stones,
straight, so
air
maybe
quality,
that's gotta be.
rain.
I just I don't know, because like we
Bro,
we had the Vitality supporters in Antwerp. Antwerp, I think, was a sick crowd as well. Like I
Yeah.
just felt it was more going on. Rio, I don't have
think-
to talk about that. It's like a completely different
Sure, yeah,
story
yeah,
and not comparable with like a Central European event. I just think it's unfair.
You go
and
next.
it's not even unfair. I think we were doing a disservice to Cologne by trying to constantly be like,
Compare it.
yeah. It's like it's the best out of everything that's not a major, and that in itself is fucking insane.
Yes.
But
That's great, yeah.
stop trying to make it something that is not, because it just pisses me off. I think it's fake. It's fake news. It's not true.
Sure.
Bro. It's not true.
Follow up, Striker.
I think no. What I was gonna say is that I think it's because, I mean, the final just wasn't that great first of all, and I mean a lot of the other games also, like Vitality ENCE was the first couple of games were great. Third map was just a blowout, right? Like, so people are not going to get excited when like one team is just like winning so hard. It was also always obvious that G2 were going to win after the first couple of maps, and even the second map wasn't that great. There was like a moment where it was kind of close, but then G2 just ran away with it, and then like you already know like what's going to happen. Like Gents are realistically not going to come back in 3 maps in a row, you know. But like, I don't know, Chad, what you were trying to say there with like the first 2 maps between ENCE and Vitality, but like I was going crazy in that match, and I could tell that like the crowd was great. Like I could tell.
But like there's no chanting, there's no like the crowd vibe.
Like the back and forth.
Compared to like even Dallas, I feel like Dallas had like a lively.
Well, it wasn't divided, right? Like there was people every time Mike would go out there, who you going for? You'd kind of get comparable cheers, which is a good and a bad thing for the level of the crowd, right? Obviously, the Germans wanted Swanee and G2 to win, right?
Yeah.
But people also like the underdog ENCE story.
There was a lot of ENCE.
There was guys with there had a guy, I don't know if it was a real tattoo. He took his fucking shirt off. On his chest, he had an ENCE tattoo. If that was real, holy shit. Did you see that?
No.
He was in the ENCE cheer section and his fucking shirt off after they won Anubis. Like, what?
It was just it's just a pet peeve, an annoyance from my side.
Okay, my annoyance, it's not about this event.
Nope.
It's something that I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't a fucking
CSGO Cologne.
mate. In the major, I wanted to blow my fucking brains out hearing every second, I'm sorry, Dimitri, saying the last CSGO major, the last CSGO major, the last CSGO major, the last CSGO major. Shut the fuck up. It's got nothing to do with the game. I don't give a fuck. For me, CS2 is just the next step. It's almost the same game. For here, the only time that I brought it into my commentary was during this game. The only game that matters. The only time it matters. During the major, I'm there working it, having to listen to all these people saying it the whole time. I'm like, man, can we just shut the fuck up about this? What is the point? What is the point of this? There's no pause. There's no new game. Just get the fuck on with it.
And we don't even know when it's coming out. Like,
I mean, the point is like everybody, like, obviously that's how we use this as like a way to make the event look more important than it actually is, just because last year's goal, it's like we're talking about as if the game is dying. Like we had a 1 minute, we had a minute of silence for the death of CSGO. I know a lot of people were kind of romantic about it, but I was like, fuck that. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, okay, CSGO is going to go away, but we're literally like, it's just a different name. Like, we're just getting a big update to CSGO essentially. Like, so like, what are we talking about? Like the same with like Nico's never going to win a CSGO major. I'm like, yes, technically yes, technically true. But at the same time, like, I mean, we didn't, like, Neo didn't fucking Forest, whatever, like, didn't win the last major in 1.6, you know, and like he went into CSGO and achieved way more than he did in 1.6, you know. And so it's like, that's my point. Like, there's just like so much that we have ahead.
You know what, like with the whole like, you know, what's going to come and everything like that, and looking at CS2 and all this kind of stuff, it's like this game, mate, it could not be closer to the current version than that we're playing. Like, we had Dota go to Dota 2, right? Like Dota 2, when it had the transition onto the new engine, like they did that seamlessly, and I don't even know if they had the same level of fanfare over the shit. Like, I know that Counter-Strike is going to be
these guys put out an update before a Dota major.
The last update they did was insane.
Did you look at the pages?
Holy shit, it just kept going. It was like a library.
It was literally like 70 pages update of changes on Dota, and it came out two days before a big event. just move on with your life.
Yeah.
It is what
Yeah.
it is, as they say.
Anyway, whatever. Like I understand. I understand
That's
why you were pissed off about this, because I like it's just pointless. Like it's not. It doesn't add anything to the event.
And shout out to the guy that tweeted at me and it was sarcastic and I didn't know it about. He put out the thing like. I listened to the whole podcast before Cologne,
And you didn't say even
you
once.
didn't mention even once that it was the last CSGO Cologne.
I don't know what the last CSGO event is.
And I made a joke about it. It's like obviously we're not gonna say like last CSGO Cologne, it's bullshit. And then he was like, "Oh, sorry, I was joking."
That's
like
the thing.
It's like, fuck it. How can I know? Like, I get that's the thing from their perspective. They don't know how many stupid fucking tweets I get.
That is serious, right? Yeah.
It's like it's hard to know. So shout out to that guy.
I let me check my messages right now. I'm sure I've got a couple in here that are fucking hard to tell the difference between a joke or what. We might have an example here.
SPUNJ, I like you. That's definitely hard to understand.
That's sarcasm right there. What else we got here? No, there might not be anything. I've kind of like I said earlier, I kind of like all the talking we do, like this podcast, when I do talking counter, when I'm on broadcast, that's where I reserve my opinions for, because I get an opportunity to talk through them. And if I have something that I feel very strongly about, then I can express that in a way that you guys get to see why I feel this way. You get to see the passion or lack thereof, dejection, anger, happiness, sadness. Whereas you just tweet it out into the void. And I get it. Like, mate, Elon's made it so he can make money off of fucking Twitter now. Thanks, Elon. But
do you get any money from that?
No, I think I have to like sign up for it.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I don't know, like from
Pimp is gonna make bank.
He is, man. Some people like, so this is
Pimp's
why
gonna make bank with his fucking.
But so's like Thorin, right? Like he can make a shitload of money because this is the thing.
That's
people
actually,
read
that's actually the worst thing ever. Oh my god, let's not talk about it. I'm actually getting tilted.
No, but think about this, right?
It's just like make the most outrageous claim.
Yeah, but that's why it's
make
great.
Money.
It's
oh my
genius.
god, it's just gonna be even worse. Like people didn't even make money directly off of it, and we're still fucking.
Yeah, but this is why I know that you feel that way about it. But think about this. Think about if you're somebody like Duncan. You go, I just can keep stirring the fucking pot of all these people online. They're going to interact with my tweet, and they're essentially going to be getting me money. Okay. Like Duncan is going to be loving that, and I don't blame him. Like if you can stir the pot and you can make money from it. Like I don't know how much money it is, but I like.
Like I don't know. I heard that the MKBHD guy. Earned like $1,000 per month.
Oh. Okay, so pretty negligible.
But I don't know how much he tweets, but he's pretty big.
Yeah, he's a fucking big deal.
Yeah. And his YouTube probably earns like.
Yeah. I mean, I saw some people just like taking a screenshot of like what they earned. It was like $5, $10. Like thanks, Elon. I was like people with like 200K subscribers, like followers or whatever. And I'm like, okay, maybe I don't need to care about like if I make that sort of was it 5 million or whatever.
For impressions.
And it's something if I worked at it, I would get to that level. And then I saw like how much people are getting. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not gonna make that. I don't care enough.
I only reinstalled the Twitter app so I can send audio messages to the fantasy chat.
Do you have an Apple phone?
No.
I don't think I can do voice messages.
On the
maybe I can.
If you go in DM, you can.
I reinstalled that. I reinstalled the app as well because when it changed over, I had a harder time with it. But maybe I can.
We've gotten way off topic today.
Well, what do you mean? We've never done a show like this before.
That is true.
It's actually a banger.
It is really nice.
It's actually a banger show.
Holy shit! Machine came top 5 in fantasy. You see that?
Did he win the $50?
Oh, fuck.
The $50. Well, I think Maniac did pretty well, didn't he?
Dropped.
Maniac's back at the top.
Hugo won top 2.
Oh, Mr. Byron.
Let's go.
Mate, fucking Hugo and Harry, I love those kids. Like that, they're two of my favorite people in this world. Those
top 8 still. It's not bad.
I've kept, mate, my start to the season was horrific. And I was talking to Connor, and Connor was like, "You're smart, you'll figure it out." And I went, "All right, Connor, I'll try and figure it out." I'm back in.
You got 12 points now?
And I did good in the one just before as well.
12 points as well.
Yeah.
You got 12, I got 6, and you got 4 from this game.
Yeah.
Well, at least we scored.
Yeah.
Worst case, you got 0.
I mean, I literally started top 97 after the first 2 games or some shit. Like it was really bad.
Anything's pretty good.
Like after 3 games, I had 2 players left, so we vibing.
Yeah.
We vibing.
I had some Pice and Madden, and I had JKS and Hunter. And Hunter had an average game. JKS was the best out of those 4 names. So I didn't have a monster.
The problem is like the grand final now, the best of 5s have like a multiplier point.
Yeah,
1.5, 50%
like
more.
50% more
really?
points.
So like people that had Nico and Hunter probably banked so hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to like, this is the thing. I like to hedge. Like I like to go, okay, if I can get all players like around 200,000
I have the same thing.
It's like I'm just going, if I can they just have to do their job.
I'll tell you my first draft, right? My first draft, I think, before I changed to Hooksy Modesty, I had Hobbit and Electronic, who were like 205, 202 or something. I had JKS and Hunter, who were like 197, 199, and I had who did I have? Madden, I think, was the last guy. It was like literally like middle of the road. That is my kind of draft.
I feel like that usually works better.
It does, right?
Because you also get points for like the teams just winning, and negatives for losing. So you get some points for that, and you get more games to activate the boosters. So especially at the playoffs, it's just you know hitting the right teams.
I mean that wouldn't have done any better for me, to be fair. Like because that would have gotten fucked by Cloud9 either way, and I would have gotten fucked by Modern either way. So it's like kind of I would have probably it's just a fair game. I would have done pretty much the same.
Now I want to do this because your girlfriend's sitting in the corner here, probably thinking, "Can these fucking idiots shut the fuck up?" And I agree with her. So what I want to do is we've been going for I guess almost an hour and a half now,
which is
probably what we expected.
Yeah.
And this has been fun. I think in person, right? I much prefer it in person. Bro, you guys could all move to Malta. That'd be great. But
can we move to Malta? Do you want to move to Malta?
There you go. That was a quick yes. Prof, how about you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work
but
you
Martin
out.
can buy me a boat, so I can just
How about Martin moves HLTV
to Malta?
To Malta.
Oh, I'm down.
Lucas is coming.
Lucas is down.
Yeah, okay.
You're not built for the sun,
Lucas,
bro.
did Amelie get back to the? She all good?
Yeah, she's at Radisson. You can go down and say hello.
Okay,
there we go.
Good,
nice.
All right, good news. All right, people in Twitch chat right now, thank you very much for joining us. If you have some questions, pump them in now. We might answer a couple before we close down the show, but we will be leaving here very shortly. I want to give Justin.
Do we have? Just
it was about 5K when I checked.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's really nice.
But this is the thing. This doesn't exist. This doesn't exist anywhere, right?
It's so funny because like Bertro, our photographer, when we were like in the press room,
like who's gonna watch that?
He's like, there's gonna be a best of 5. Who's gonna fucking watch the podcast after that? I'm like, I don't know, bro, but we're gonna try.
Well, I think
that's amazing.
Yes, but this is the thing, right? Like people are looking for something after the entertainment to talk about the entertainment.
How deranged are these people?
What is the first thing you do when you go out of a movie? You're talking to the person you're in the movie with about the fucking movie.
Yeah.
You go on IMDb, check the trivia.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know about that. I never did that.
It's a cool thing.
Okay, let me just read through some of the comments here. So we still have a fucking dickhead going, Sponge, why is your only cast reaction? Oh, I'll meet you in real life. I will fucking talk you down, cunt. Fucking come say it to me in person.
Dimitri, that's the end of the show.
No, but I mean it. Come talk shit to me in person. Let's see how you fucking fare.
You will
do it online.
Oh, you won't. You don't come
do
to
it
an
online.
Event, you little just talk shit from your house.
Do it online.
Okay, ask these questions, guys. I'm trying to look here, mate. Do you think winning Cologne and Kato for Mondesi so early in his career would have a negative impact in his future?
Yeah, no.
What about sorry?
Winning Kato and Cologne will have a negative impact on Mondesi.
Why the fuck would it have
No. Like maybe it's like I think the comparison would be like Daisy Kierby winning the major and MVP being so early. But Mondesi is not that type of guy. You can see, and we're in a different state of CS and esports in general. That he is so fucking well grounded as an individual that I don't think it can only be, just give him more confidence.
There's no such thing as peaking too early, man.
Okay.
It's just falling off too early. That's a different thing.
Did Dastan agree to make an appearance on the podcast? No, he hasn't. I messaged him on Instagram and he didn't reply. But if I'm Dastan, as much as I like to talk to Dastan in person, if he listens to me say that I think his team is boring, then I don't think I would want to give me an interview either. So I'm sorry, Dastan.
I feel like Dastan,
I really like you, Dastan.
He would be a good podcast. I think maybe it's scary to do it online.
Speaking of people from Kazakhstan, I saw Adren in the crowd today.
Yeah, I mean he's doing some broadcast stuff.
You saw him in the crowd. I get out the shower, shirt off, walk out. Someone's yelling downstairs. I open the curtain. I look across. Me and Adren both looking down at the patio. He didn't notice me, but I noticed him. I was like, oh, okay.
What did you notice? Was he naked? Or?
No, I was the only one. Yeah.
Funnily enough, there's the other Adren also at the event.
Yes.
American Adren.
Did you not see him? No. With who?
With Flom and
so do you know what happened?
I didn't even see Flom.
So what happened was Nouns have been here the entire Cologne. So they won
like ESL thing.
They won some ESEA thing, right? To come over and boot camp. So they got set up in the hotel like everybody else. They got to go to player catering, all that kind of stuff. Semphis is here. And part of winning that, and this is, I guess, part of helping nurture North American Counter-Strike, ESL/ESEA/Faceit, I guess it's just EFG. had a Dren come across to be
Yeah.
like the coach, which is crazy. They already have Semphis as the coach,
Yeah.
right? So a Dren was here. I guess he gets paid to do this
Heard,
whole
yeah.
gig, right? So they have them here and just a bunch of Americans who are also having a good time.
does nothing for NAC.
Shut the fuck up, USL shill. Well, there was more good questions in here. People asked
And
a couple more.
then they went to Serbia to play CCT Online Finals, and then Semphis got attacked by hail, which is hitting the region.
Like a person or like the weather?
The weather.
Okay, all right. Didn't know if there was a player called Hale. I don't know why anyone would be attacking Semphis. He's fucking huge.
There's only
You
rain.
don't want to attack Semphis.
Rain and hail, sun, and anyway, I'm running out of words. Fix the HLTV app.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we actually were talking
we
about
were
it
talking about
today.
that.
There's also a guy that asked how was our Korean food today, so he might have heard that.
Where
as
did you
well.
go?
The
Gangnam style?
style, yeah.
Okay, we went to go there, but there was too many people there.
It's all the time. But I planned lunch with my HLTV colleagues. I booked a place last
Okay.
night, and in classic me style, it was like online booking. And it's 10-minute walk from our hotel. We meet in the lobby. Okay, we're gonna walk. It's raining outside, like heavily.
Mhm.
All right, okay, fuck it. What are we gonna do? Let's get an umbrella. There's umbrellas at the thing,
Which makes sense.
but each umbrella is like €3.
You
and
had to
it's
pay for the umbrella.
It's 4 of us, so it's like €12 for umbrellas. We're just gonna get an Uber. So we get an Uber, wait for an Uber. Uber drives us off to this place. We get to the place. Kind of looks closed, but the door is open. But it's definitely closed. It's closed. The place is closed. It's raining outside. We need to go to another place. So we call another Uber, wait another 10 minutes. It was a nightmare. This is like my life in a nutshell.
That
It's
was
like minor
today.
Yeah, that was today.
inconveniences.
That was today.
Yeah. So then we went to the Korean place and waited like an hour. It was very slow, but it was okay. I
Okay.
don't know, nothing.
Okay.
nothing
Yeah, no, I
crazy.
heard it was slow in terms of the
Yeah,
delivery. of
we
food.
also didn't do like the self stuff.
Oh, you didn't
because we-
cook. You just ordered.
yeah, it was like a whole process. It was too much time.
All right. Well, let's shut this down. We'll do another episode later this week, I imagine, once we get home. I get home late tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I don't know when you guys are getting home, so
Same.
probably later in the week. I'm going to G8, so I don't know when I even fly.
You're definitely not doing a podcast from G8. That's what I can tell you for
Well,
sure.
there's only an hour time difference.
No, but what about the voice over IP being blocked in
Is that the case?
Saudi?
I know
Yes.
nothing about where I'm going.
Yeah.
I have a VPN.
No, we're not doing any of those things.
Oh, okay.
Not doing any of those things.
But we can do one later this week. Maybe a Thursday show.
Maybe, yeah,
Maybe a Thursday
maybe.
show. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
It was amazing.
And yeah,
great.
another episode of HLTV Confirmed. This one, the first one
I
live
also
after a grand
very
final.
much feel like that, like the white podcast guy. When you kind of feel the situation you're in.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I'm in a Instagram clip of a white guy's having a podcast.
Yeah, that's us.
how I feel.
That's exactly who we
It's
are.
very funny.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank
Nice.
you very much for this evening. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, 22Bet. Thank you, SteelSeries. Thank you, Trader.gg. And
I met some of the guys yesterday.
from Trader.gg.
Pretty chill guys.
Yeah,
Shout out.
they're here.
Yeah.
We should. Okay, cool. I don't know. I haven't met any of our sponsors.
Same.
Okay. Well, Prof apparently has all the connections. And Lucas, I want to leave the viewers with one final message. So as I'm mid doing this, I need you to cut the stream off. Lucas, you got me?
I'll try. I'm pretty new at this producer thing.
Okay, cool. I know you're pretty new, but you might be able to nail this one. And JKS, he's in a 1-on-5 situation. They all line up, and JKS mows them all down. Oh, JKS!
Best esports odds, VIP program and a variety of bonuses, fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO match and tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins and looking for beautiful new ones? Tradeit.gg is your place to go for easy and secure trades within seconds. Simply pick and choose whatever item you want to trade from Tradeit's huge inventory. Verify the trade on Steam, and you're ready. With the lowest fees in the market and a beautiful, easy-to-use UI, Tradeit also offers you the option to instantly sell your items for cash. We accept a wide variety of payment methods. Tradeit.gg is the go-to place whenever you want to try out fancy new skins. Start trading today at Tradeit.gg.
It's a good vibe, trend, 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 trend. It's a good vibe, trend, 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 trend. It's a good vibe, trend, 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 trend. Good vibe, trend.